Fun in here, right?
Absolutely.
This guy's having a good time over there.
Well, that guy's got a full beer in front of him. Of course he's having a good time. That's the way to get your Friday started. It might be his 10th.
That dude's been in here for 5 hours already.
It's his third. They opened at 11. You don't know how to do math. I was here at 11. I had lunch here. I've been here all day.
Wow.
And you can get everything you want here except a glass of water.
No, you get a glass of water. It just comes in a shot glass.
Well, it's a shot glass. Joe said, because, we're here for hours. We can't drink. And Joe ordered water. I got an iced tea. Half sweet, half unsweet. Just kind of like me. And they bring the water out in this little cup. And, well, I can bring you more. Can you get that in a bigger glass? No. It's water. We don't want to serve water. I said,
I'm not driving. I'm all right.
Well, but they understand your bladder. If you have more water than that, you might not be able to drive all the way home.
And then for the first time since I've worked at San Antonio Sports Star, Greg Shelton put us about as far away from the restrooms as there is.
Well, it's because you pissed him off last time.
Dude, I'm going to have to jog to the bathroom and jog back.
Lord knows you need to.
Holy cow.
Work in a little bit of a run. It's possible.
Wouldn't hurt.
Well, and what I don't understand, though, is where we're set up here. Like, I've been here before where they have live music. They've got a stage over yonder.
They do.
Which is close to the bathroom. Yet, Greg Shelton, he's right by the kitchen.
Well, maybe they have a band playing here tonight.
Well, they might. I don't know. Not that the band's going to be here at 6 o'clock. But
good point.
That band, whatever band is playing tonight, has never had a better opening act than us.
No, there's no question about it.
There's no doubt about that.
Well, you notice where we're set up is closest to the parking lot. Shelton's thinking about carrying the equipment out of here.
Well, that's what it is. The equipment out the side door, and he's right by the kitchen.
Yeah.
He's just hoping that as things go by, he'll be able to grab something and go.
Well, he's already munching out on a burger.
Well, we could see half of it's on the front of his red shirt.
Is that a Juicy Lucy, Shelton? That's what I had, man. It was a damn good burger.
It is a damn good burger, although it's not a true Juicy Lucy. Now, we're at Lucy Cooper, so it's their version of it. But when I think of a Juicy Lucy, when we were in Minnesota for the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, everybody said you got to get a Juicy Lucy. And I wasn't sure what it is, but they take patties and they put cheese in it, and then they cook it down. So when you take a bite of it, the cheese is a part of it. And it will, that first bite, be ready because, that cheese is hot, right? It's like eating a pizza roll and it burns at the top of your mouth. But it is so good. That's not kind of how they do them here, but it is one hell of a burger.
It's a great burger. I enjoyed it. And Shelton looks like he's enjoyed it. He hadn't talked in the last 5 minutes because his mouth is full.
Well, that's it.
Which you just keep bringing him food because we like it better that way.
Well, he likes it better that way. It's Friday and he's less grumpy than normal. Now,
that's not saying a whole lot.
Well, look, the bar is low.
Yes.
But he actually smiled at something earlier, although nobody got it on film. And again, because we've seen today, since we've been here, we saw a serving career start and end all before lunch.
We did.
All before lunch. We've seen it all here already today.
I'm telling you, it's been a hell of a day. It can only get better from here. You're right. Our server is very nice, by the way.
She's fantastic. She had a trainee for about 30 minutes.
Except we only get shot glasses of water. We already explained that.
Yeah, you can't get a full glass of water. This poor server at some point is just going to bring you a pitcher of water because it's got 2 swallows and that's it.
But she was training somebody.
It was.
And apparently this trainee spilled something and wasn't very happy about it. Says, I got to go out to my car and get something.
And
she never came back.
She left.
She never came back.
We saw the career begin and end right there.
Wow.
It was, entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Although, I would say just from judging, Lucy Cooper's is better for it.
The NFL.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. How's your Friday? That was funny as hell.
It's going to be. That was funny as hell. And our server didn't seem too. Apparently, that's not the first time that's happened.
Well, I think, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. When the server's afraid to talk, that's a problem.
That is a problem. Yes.
And if you can't carry a drink, That's probably a problem in this business.
Yeah,
too.
we shouldn't be spilling stuff. I mean, that is an issue.
It's kind of like, when we were at training camp and we were watching the kicker tryouts.
Yeah,
we knew who wasn't going to stick around very long because in practice on the first day, if you miss 3 field goals, you're probably not long for the team.
Well, and then I knew who was going to stick around. So, I called that one.
You did.
I did. I called that one, called the tight end. I mean, is there anything else I can do for you, Jerry? Just let me know. Anything else I can do for Jerry Jones?
There's a lot of things you could do.
Yeah, well, we could we could have fired the coach. That would have been nice. We can get rid of number 4. That'd be nice. There's a lot of other things we could probably do.
Yeah, but you have to have a plan in order to do that. Do you have a plan to do that?
Well, if Jerry would ask me, I'd be welcome to sit down for 3 hours in his office and go over a plan.
I don't know if he wants to have a financial discussion with you, Joe.
I think he might.
I mean, because, it's easy to say get rid of number 4, although you understand the financial implications of that. Now, Joe Corey, a former agent, has a great article on CBSSports.com that goes through the details of a variety of scenarios in which the Cowboys could handle Dak Prescott, from the financial implications if they were to designate him, say, a post-June 1 cut. If you actually found a trade partner, what that could mean, or extension. And then he goes into details about how the extensions work. And the last big quarterback contract, that was Joe Burrow. Now, if you look at all of them, the most recent ones over the last couple of years, they average a 2.3% increase over the last guy. So you take Joe Burrow's, add 2.3%, do the math, and that's what it is. And he also goes in there for knuckleheads like Ryan Nagel that will say he hasn't earned it. What has he done? And he lists all these great quarterbacks that have 0 playoff success, less success than Dak Prescott, that at one point have been the highest paid quarterback because they're next at that rate increase. And it's scary as hell. It is scary as hell from that standpoint, because it's coming, but the numbers are laid out there for you. So at least when you're arguing with somebody at the bar about it, you'll be a little bit more educated, no matter how wrong it feels as you're reading it. But that is the system, and that's where Dak Prescott is going to benefit.
Well, and that's what I love. And I love this job because you get knuckleheads like Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to make my life and the whole next year just a lot of fun.
Yep.
Keeping Mike McCarthy, you're going to make Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yep.
And I love it. So we'll be talking about missing out on or losing in the first round of the playoffs again next year. So this is all fantastic.
No, you understand how the hamster wheel works. April, the draft, free agent, whatever they do. When we're in Oxnard, we're talking about how this year is going to be different. It's in the handbook. It's in the handbook. I mean, it's 28 years.
Well, you Cowboy fans are going to be saying that.
It's 28 years proven that it's in the handbook.
Well, Cowboy fans are going to, I mean, it's going to be the year. Although, I will say, I happened to catch a little bit of R&R in the morning this morning.
Yeah.
R.J. Ochoa. Bigger Cowboy lunatic than you are.
Yes.
And
that's saying something.
And this guy was telling Rob and the audience this morning about how he's been hearing from Cowboy fans who are just fed up. They're done.
Sure.
It's over.
It's a stage of grief that we're in right now. Anger. That's where we're at right now.
There is no reason to believe that this Cowboys football team is going to be better next year than it was this year. That's the problem the Cowboy fans have going in. And unless they make some sort of a remarkable splash during the offseason.
But isn't that every fan base? I mean, right here on the TV right now, they're playing a replay of an old Bills-Chiefs game, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think every Buffalo fan for the last several years since Josh Allen has been there, this year it's going to be different, this year it's going to be different, this year it's going to be different?
Every team has their kryptonite.
Yes.
For Josh Allen, that is Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
For the Dallas Cowboys, it's the first playoff game of the season. So, I mean,
last year it was
everybody
the
has
second,
it.
but why does facts get in the way of anything? Right?
I'm just saying, every team has their kryptonite.
210-656-ESPN 676. Mike, you're on the Blitz, man. He wants in on this early. What's up, man?
Hey, so I just heard one of you guys say that you called who was going to be the kicker and who was going to be the tight end. Does that mean I can blame you for this last Cowboys game?
Well, sure. What did those are the two best players on the field last Sunday.
Well, was there a best player on the field this last Sunday?
Jake Ferguson had 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, and Aubrey was perfect.
Oh, that's good. Good point.
So that's okay. Call in anytime.
Mike, that was an awful call for a Friday. I mean, you really wanted to bust some balls, and then you just tuck your tail and go that easily?
Boy, he was fired up.
Oh, he was.
That's all right.
He was.
Well, I mean, when I'm right, I'm right. I mean, it's hard to argue that.
I mean, it happens so often that you got to celebrate those victories forever. I mean, I will give you. I mean, Brandon Aubrey in training camp, the other guy was so bad, you were like, he's got to get the job. I wanted some competition for him.
I know it.
Even though, and you never give me credit for this, I liked him, but I still wanted some competition for him. Just like I'd like a real competitor in the room with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I mean, because Aubrey was getting all the kicks with no competition early. And as a rookie coming from the spring league, he had no idea. Turns out his wife was right. Hey, honey, why don't you try out for the NFL? You could be pretty good at this.
So she discovered him. Huh? I can't take credit for it.
Well, I mean,
she's sleeping with a guy. I guess she knows a little bit more about him than I do.
I mean, although it does sound like you're humping his leg half the time, but
well, yeah. When it's talent, you spot talent.
I mean, look, you fell in love with Jake Ferguson before you knew who he was and what position he played. That guy walked by us, and you were like, "Who is that?" Got your flip card out and said, Jake Ferguson, tight end. That guy's going to be good. No, that was your talent evaluation.
I studied the guy the entire training camp before I made that call.
BS. So that guy walked by, and you were like, who is that?
He makes it sound creepy as hell, doesn't he?
Well, it kind of was.
It wasn't that way.
It kind of was. I mean, that's not like you looked at the sheet and said, tight end. That's appropriate. You didn't do that, but you might as well have because that's how it felt.
That's fine. Everybody likes it when you're right. People try to knock you down, and that's okay. If you want to do that, that's fine. I was right. That's all that matters. He was the best player on the field Sunday, along with Aubrey.
Aubrey.
Whatever the hell his name is.
It's a damn kicker, right?
He's a kicker.
Yes, plant your flag. Oh, my goodness. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. A Flight Friday. Right at Lucy Cooper's on 281 with our friends from Flight by Yingling. They already have some nice cold drinks that
Santa Claus showed
they
up
are
over
enjoying. There. The prizes are available to you. Come hang out with us on this Friday. Lucy Cooper's on at 281. A Flight Friday with Flight by Yingling. NFL playoffs this weekend. 4 games. And it's interesting when you look at these 4 games. Who is most likely to be upset? Right? Is there an upset that could be had this weekend? And what player is facing the most pressure, Super Bowl or bust? We'll dive into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Good morning, Stephen Hawking. What do you suggest that Bobo does to get a bride?
He should probably look to the Orient.
So, Steve, you think you should grab an Asian going on a South American?
We all get tired of Mexican food sometimes. I would rather have the Kung Pao.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Check out the Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
If you're San Antonio, there are benefits that come along with it. I will cut you to the front of the line. We're going to hike the return.
On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. A Flight Friday out at Lucy Cooper's on 281. Our friends from Flight by Yingling out here having a good time. So come get a cold beer, a cold flight. Will be good.
Absolutely. They look delicious, by the way.
They always do.
They do. They look fantastic. Ice cold. Yeah, I can't wait till 6 o'clock to have one of those, or two, or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Everybody else can come and have one now.
You can have one now.
Yes.
Come on out. It's Friday. It's a beautiful day. A little chilly again today, right?
Well, it is January.
Damn.
But it's not as bad as, well, it was earlier in the week, or as bad as it might be later in the week.
Ah, geez.
The weekend.
You know, we had our cold snap. Now it can go to spring.
Well, and we'll have another one around the rodeo. We always do. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. And then obviously this weekend is all about the playoffs, and you'll be able to listen to every one of the games this weekend, all 4 of them, here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Flight by Yingling. And you think about the games this weekend, a lot of Cowboy fans obviously still pissed off that they lost last week. It's still raw, including one David Chancellor from News 4, who tweeted out this morning, I'm telling everyone I don't care, but I'll end up blowing off things I should do this weekend to watch every single second of the NFL playoffs.
Of course.
Because it's the NFL. They are king. And it's going to suck watching these games, knowing and thinking that the Cowboys should be there. But, and I think I can only speak for me, right? But about halfway through the first quarter of the first game, I'm just watching football at that point, and it is somewhat enjoyable watching a game where, with the exception of whatever you have on the game, you don't really care who wins and loses. You're not living and dying by every play.
I got another shot of water.
There you go. We got to talk to somebody here and change that rule. Can we get a real glass of water for Joe? I mean, these little sippy cups are comical.
Is that a rule? I guess it is.
Apparently, it's a rule. It's a fireable offense to put water in a full-size glass.
Well,
yes.
They
don't want you drinking water here. They want you drinking Flight by Yingling.
Believe me, if I could, I would. Honestly. That's not a problem for me. And I will make up for it at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, well, that part is true. When you look at the games this weekend, who's looking at this as Super Bowl or bust? Is it Lamar Jackson? Is it Josh Allen? Is there really an upset? Watching the NFL Network this morning, and they were talking about potential upsets. If the Chiefs, other than seeding and don't look at favorites, but if the Chiefs beat the Bills, is that an upset? I mean, in reality, is that an upset?
I don't think
if the Bills beat the Chiefs, not really an upset.
No.
Detroit and Tampa Bay, both of them are kind of underdog teams to begin with.
They are, but I think Detroit's got more riding on that than Tampa Bay.
I mean, do they?
Yes.
I mean, if Green Bay upsets San Francisco, I think that's an upset. If Houston beats Baltimore, look at that. Water in a full-size glass. Although don't tell anybody and hide it.
What to say? It's vodka. How about that?
There you go. Except it's not.
It's not. No, it's not.
I mean, so when you look at it that way, I mean, knowing Baltimore's playoff success, Houston on this magical carpet ride right now, I know one Baltimore fan who's nervous as hell about the game tomorrow.
Well, I think you should be if you're a Baltimore fan. You should be nervous as hell. The way Houston's playing, look, and they don't know any better. They're so young, they don't know any better. And they're going to go into Baltimore. They're going to give the Ravens everything. Lamar Jackson said today, I read an article where he said today that, hey, they're getting old. The pressure's on. They got to get it done. San Francisco, same way. They're in the same way, same deal as Dallas was last week with Green Bay coming in as well as Green Bay's playing. I just think it's a little bit of an advantage for San Francisco because if they were ever thinking about taking Green Bay lightly, after they saw what they did to Dallas, I don't think that happens anymore.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Upsets this weekend, Super Bowl or bust? What do you guys think? Is there more pressure on Lamar to win or Josh Allen to win?
In my mind, I think it's Lamar Jackson. Look, I mean, there's a lot of pressure for Josh Allen to get over Patrick Mahomes, and that's been an issue. So there's a lot of pressure that way. But he does have 4 playoff wins. I mean, so it's not like he's been a bust in the playoffs, although he's got 5 losses. So, but I think just getting over Patrick Mahomes is big for him. If you're Lamar Jackson, you're basically in the same boat as a Dak Prescott, are you not? I mean, you've had great regular season success, but not in the postseason. And I think he's in that same spot.
And I think, a Baltimore fan might argue, look at the weapons around him and all these other things. And it's interesting because when you look at the Ravens and you look at the Cowboys, they are similar in their end result. How they got to that end result, I think you could argue is very different. I think Dak has had better weapons around him than Lamar, although I think Lamar's probably had better coaching. Yet
better defenses.
Well, and better defenses. Yeah. Yet Harbaugh never seems to be on the hot seat, right? And he does have a Super Bowl win, but that was a long time ago. It's interesting when you look at career records for Harbaugh and for Mike McCarthy, they're similar. Win-loss percentage.
Right.
They each have a Super Bowl, yet one is fine. The other one always seems to be on the hot seat. And, I look this year, though, the offensive coordinator that they brought in from Georgia, the weapons offensively, and, say what you want about OBJ, but he's added a dimension to that Baltimore offense. You look at them and say, Lamar has had a better year because he's got better talent around him. And I think this weekend it's going to be cold and nasty there in Baltimore. And Lamar hasn't been one read and run this year. Although Saturday, I do think you're going to see more designed runs for Lamar Jackson. I mean, they've saved him for the playoffs. Use them.
Well, look, they will use him. Can Houston's defense handle that and stop it? It's easier said than done when it comes to Lamar Jackson. But, again, I look at that thing as Houston going in there. I really give them a solid chance of coming out of there with a victory. I really do. And how weird would it be if the Texans get to the AFC Championship game? That's just going to be strange as hell, but I think it could happen. I really do. I think, as a matter of fact, I'm leaning that way. But again, you got to stop Lamar. I think Lamar Jackson is the type of quarterback that literally puts that Baltimore team on his back. When they need a big play, he comes through, whether that's with his arms or with his legs. but he comes through. And I think that's why he has the edge over whoever else you want to put behind him, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, whatever. He's got the edge in the MVP voting because of that.
Well, and it's, I mean, as true of a statement that is, dude has one playoff win. I mean, last time they were the 1 seed, your Titans went in there.
That's exactly right.
And so I look at the thing, if I'm Baltimore, I thought you were going to get Mark Andrews back, and I thought that would be a game changer. As we sit right now, that's iffy and probably not going to happen. They've got some injuries on the defensive side. I know Houston has some injuries. I don't know that Houston will be able to run this weekend against that Baltimore defense. Not the way they have been running, and their run game has been far better than I think anybody thought. So that puts the pressure on C.J. Stroud, who to this point looks like big games don't bother him, and that dates back to his time at Ohio State. He seems to be a quarterback that's calm under pressure, can make the throws. But, how many receivers can he continue to lose and continue to throw the darts the way he's been throwing them?
Well, and I tell you, a big key this week is going to be, your tight end used to be a Dallas
your
Cowboy.
favorite guy, Dalton Schultz.
No, I think he's going to be key this week, and I think he's a guy that I think C.J. Stroud's going to really have to rely on against that Baltimore defense just to kind of dink and dunk a little bit. But look, C.J.'s going to take his shots. This guy has no fear, none. He hasn't shown it to me yet, especially in big game moments. And look, the Texans have been dealing with injuries all year, so I don't think that's anything that they're not used to doing. But the more I think about it, the more I look at it, the more I like Houston to go in there and pull off the upset.
Well, and I guess maybe a better way to phrase a question. I mean, when you look at the 4 games this weekend and you look at the 4 favorites, the 4 home teams, keep in mind the only home team that lost last week was the Dallas Cowboys, right? I mean,
that's right.
If you went chalk, I don't think anybody would be surprised, right? I don't know if anybody would be surprised if the Ravens win, the Niners win, the Lions win, and the Bills win, right?
Yeah.
It's going chalk. Do you really expect the entire weekend to go chalk? So what team is most likely to be upset?
I think Buffalo gets it done this time around, even though they're banged up. And Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. But I think Buffalo gets it done this week. I know we're probably going to do picks. I'll tell you what, if I'm the Lions, though, you better not take that Tampa Bay team for granted. And that's a team that's playing well. You talk about a quarterback that's playing with a ton of confidence, and that's Baker Mayfield. He doesn't know he's supposed to lose, and he's got nothing to lose at this point.
You talk about swagger and cockiness, but also playing without any pressure.
Yeah.
I think C.J. Stroud and the Texans can go into Baltimore and play without any pressure. Even though C.J. keeps saying we're not playing with house money, no matter what happens tomorrow, they had one hell of a year.
That's
right?
exactly right.
If Green Bay goes in and gets destroyed by San Francisco, they had one hell of a year. They exceeded expectations. Detroit and Tampa Bay, I think both could say they're, Detroit certainly ahead of schedule. Tampa Bay exceeded all expectations. The Chiefs, there's pressure on them as a road team because even though it hasn't been the year for them that they expected, their standard is Super Bowl or bust.
And first time in Patrick Mahomes' era that they're playing a playoff game on the road. That's interesting to me.
Well,
the weather's going to be crappy in Buffalo.
But it's still going to be better than it was last week in Kansas City.
You think?
I mean,
I don't know.
Hard to get worse than one of the coldest games. And
I don't know, man. That Buffalo weather can change on a dime.
Well, it could, but, hearing Dan Graziano this morning on First Take, who is thrilled that for 2 weeks in a row he gets to go work in Buffalo.
I'm sure.
And he was talking about how it's going to be extremely nice compared to last week.
Really?
Apparently Sunday, it was so bad up there when they moved the game. You couldn't leave the hotel. He said it was the wind. He's like, this year, this weekend, they're not supposed to have the snow, and the wind isn't expected to be bad. It's just going to be Buffalo cold. But
it's going to be cold. It looks like the high on Sunday is going to be 25 degrees.
See, that's warm for this time of year.
Some sunshine.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of a summer day for Buffalo, isn't it?
And that kind of feels like it works into the favor of one Patrick Mahomes.
I tell you what, I never want to count that dude out.
Well, and you can't.
You can't.
You can't. It's going to be a fun weekend of football.
Of course.
That is for sure. And that weekend starts today because it is a Flight Friday here at Lucy Cooper's on 281 between Brook Hollow and Thousand Oaks. We're out here with our friends from Flight by Yingling, and they've got all kinds of prizes out there on the table right now. I see Kanga coolers, I see hats, I see T-shirts, I see those cool cups
those
that
are
they
great.
have. Not quite Stanley cups, but close to, they're Yingling cups. They're Flight Friday cups. They're going to keep your beer extra cold, which is all that matters. Although in reality, your beer shouldn't be in your cup long enough to get warm.
That's a great point. Probably the best point you've made all day.
Well, with the exception of calling you an idiot. Have I done that yet?
You have not.
Oh.
You've had no reason to.
Well, it's only 2:30.
It's early.
It's Friday. It's Friday. And, you know, I just can't get over watching Greg drink out of a sippy cup. We'll have to talk to management about those cups.
It's cute, isn't he?
No.
Adorable.
Not really. You know who was adorable?
Who's that?
Wade Phillips in studio yesterday.
He was.
I mean, Wade Phillips is just such a good guy. I'm excited that he's going to be the head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. And he was in studio yesterday. And if you missed it, because it was later in the show, some of his stories, comments about Jerry Jones, interesting. We'll dive into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. Obviously, cold weather is here. You got the rodeo coming up. You need your logo on winter gear. Sam has his winter line on display in that massive showroom right now. You need your logo on coats, on jackets, on hoodies, on half zips, on beanies. Sam will get you taken care of. If you need caps, Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, including the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. Sam has over 700 uniform lines to choose from all kinds of industries. Nobody has better prices, and Sammy has all the big name brands like North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. Call 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
Hi, this is Scott Graham from Westwood One. Join our crew all weekend long for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. First on Saturday, the Texans face the Ravens, followed by the Packers and 49ers. Then on Sunday, the Bucs battle the Lions before it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs taking on Josh Allen and the Bills. Our doubleheader coverage begins at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. If it's the NFL playoffs, it's right here.
Hear it exclusively this weekend on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Card House, the premier card house. It's a new year, it's a new month, but it's the same old thing when you're talking about SA Card House. They're giving money away. $125K giveaway running all the way through the end of the month, January 31st. 527 chances to win. You know our slogan, you got to play to get the pay. 17 hot seats drawn per day. Yes, per day, every hour on the hour from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. And this month they pulled out the wheel. That's right, 20 spin the wheel to win. $500 all the way up to $2,000. And of course, it's SA Card House, so you got the multiplier. The multiplier bonus is 100 to 149 hours. You get 2 times the multiplier. Once you get up over 150, it's 3 times the multiplier. When you're playing that much, might get a little famished, might get a little hungry, might get a little thirsty. Bounce on over to Foster's Bar and Grill and order some food from one of those 3 fantastic chefs. Check it out yourself at sacardhouse.com. That's SA Card House, the premier card house in San Antonio.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knees, shoulder. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue, and QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The future of pain treatments has arrived, and QC Kinetics has tens and thousands of satisfied patients all with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get you your life back. And best of all, it's non-surgical. If this is your year to decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now and call QC Kinetics to get a free consultation on the calendar today. Call 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Did you know some ordinary cold medicines can raise your blood pressure? That's alarming. Fortunately, there's Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. It's specially formulated without alcohol, sugar, or decongestants to provide fast, powerful cold and flu symptom relief for people with high blood pressure. So if you have high blood pressure, try DayQuil High Blood Pressure, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, colds, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed and keep out of reach of children.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Your home for the Dallas Cowboys is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jay Semenix. A Flight Friday out at Lucy Cooper's on 281, Thousand Oaks, Brook Hollow, with our friends from Flight by Yingling.
And they're over there enjoying a nice cold flight.
Yeah, they are.
Renee does that to us every time. Let me look at it.
Yeah, their Flight Friday is taking off.
Yeah, sure has.
I like that saying, though, Flight Friday. You know, it's got that buzz to start the weekend, doesn't it? You get that. You know, it's a Flight Friday.
I like it. It. Hey, can we
no.
Can we have some breaking news there, Pledge? The Raiders are going to do something right. Going to take the interim tag off of Antonio Pierce and make him the head coach. You know, he took over midseason. He went 5-4, and the players wanted him. They're going to get him. He's going to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
You know, and I think you could probably send a nice thank you card for D'Amico Ryans for that, too.
Yeah.
You know, hey, a former linebacker that's doing well as a head coach. Players respect him. And it also kind of means, in my mind, Harbaugh to the Chargers and Belichick to the Falcons. I think that's how those dominoes are going to fall.
So where's Mike Vrabel go?
Seattle.
Wow. Seattle, huh?
And
that means Dan Quinn comes back to the Dallas Cowboys. Man,
run it back.
It's just getting better by the day.
I mean, it is interesting when you look at it. And I do think there obviously is some situations that you could look at. But, I mean, if I were to guess right now, that's how I think it ultimately plays out. That I think Harbaugh or Davis was interested in Harbaugh, but if he's staying with the interim coach, and I think that is a good move.
I do
for the Raiders.
Yeah.
But I think the dominoes, Harbaugh ends up with the Chargers, Belichick ends up with Atlanta.
Now, you could have some very high-profile jobs coming open, though. Nick Sirianni is meeting with the ownership group today. Don't know if they're going to keep him or not there in Philadelphia. And you said something at lunch today. You're hearing or reading somewhere that Andy Reid could actually retire after the season.
Well, there's some rumors out there. But there's rumors about Andy Reid every year. It's almost like Greg Popovich.
Yeah.
Is this going to be his last year? It does, although it is a real possibility, I guess, with Andy Reid, especially if they lose this weekend. Although, Twitter rumors, but I think, Andy Reid and how much longer does he want to do it has been a story for the last couple of years. And when you look at the contract that Mahomes has, and again, his 10-year deal that can be restructured every couple of years and all that, but you look at him this year, little strapped because of the salary cap. And while they are still playing in the playoffs, not looking quite as dominant as they have in the past, and some of that's personnel. Like, they couldn't find a wide receiver that catches. That's why they got Kadarius Toney, who's still a game-time decision. And, I mean, you're better off with him on the bench. Get somebody out there that might be able to catch.
Yeah, Toney has lost his way when it comes to catching the football. Rashid Rice, though, has stepped up for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was sensational last week.
Yeah, he emerged.
In that win against the Dolphins. Yeah, it's hard to gauge the Chiefs playing the Dolphins because the Dolphins were one of those teams, they look like they were already on vacation, honestly. And I know the weather was horrible and all of that stuff, but they simply didn't play well last week at all.
They didn't. But again, I mean, some of that credit Kansas City for playing well and having a good plan. And, and again, I do think the Chiefs do have a Super Bowl caliber defense. And for that defense to hold Miami, even in none-degree weather, to 7 points is still pretty impressive.
No doubt about it. So, I don't know what to make of Kansas City. We'll find out a lot this week against Buffalo. But that's the cherry on top of a great weekend, and I can't wait. That's the final game of the weekend Sunday night. So that's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great weekend. Clearly, the Cowboys aren't a part of it. Yesterday, Wade Phillips was in studio with us, the new head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas.
Yep.
And you and I have known Wade and been around Wade for years and years. When he was head coach of the Cowboys, when he was the defensive coordinator with the Houston Texans. He's been in our studio before when Dat Wynn was the co-host. I remember doing shows with Wade in Houston at the draft when they took J.J. Watt, man, and he was as giddy as he's ever been. And, you could sit down there. It'd be fun to have him show up like at Lucy Cooper's and just tell stories. Story time with Wade would be fantastic because, he's been around football his entire life. He knows everybody, and he's been in every situation. One of the things, though, that Wade is one of the few that could actually answer or would answer, and he did with us yesterday. Not that he's going to say anything bad about Jerry Jones, but Jerry Jones gets knocked for a lot of things, and one of them is because he's the general manager. And, I look at the decision he made to keep Mike McCarthy more as a business decision than a winning decision. And I asked that to Wade yesterday, and is it business or is it winning? And for Wade Phillips, he says with Jerry Jones, it's always about winning.
No, he's all about winning. Yeah, and not anything against other owners, but his bottom line is to win. If there's a player out there that you convince him that we need to win, he's going to pay the money to get him. And some of those other guys have been around. What's the bottom line? Everything. So, no, he's definitely about winning.
Did you ever go to him and say, "I need this guy"?
Yeah.
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 Anybody we know?
Leonard Davis, when we got him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a monster, but, and he listens and evaluates, and, he'll say, well, no, we don't want to do that. Say, okay. So, but he'll listen and do things that
nice
that you might want.
But I tell you what, he was very forthcoming, and I think if you listen to that interview, and if you haven't, you should go listen to it in the audio vault, brought to you by A. Best Bail Bonds at sasportstar.com, because he really opened up about his time with Jerry Jones and how Jerry was, because we were coming off that soundbite that Mike McCarthy said yesterday. He met with Jerry for 3 hours. And he took in everything. And the knock on Jerry Jones from a lot of Cowboy fans is the fact that, he's just a businessman, that he doesn't care about winning, that everything is a business decision. And Wade said that's not true.
So literally, he said that Jerry does know football. He is a football guy.
He did say that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not running the plays, but he played football. He played on a winning team. He was, and then he's been the general manager the whole time. And I don't know look at how much success they've had. And we're mad at them for losing 12 games every year, but because they lost the playoff game. But no, he's into football.
Interesting.
It is interesting because I do think Jerry has the reputation amongst fans that it's more about making money and selling shirts and the drama that comes along with them. I think it's David Moore at the Dallas Morning News that calls them the Kardashians, and there's all that different stuff. But when you get into the room and hearing him talk about the questions that he asks, and he knows football, and that winning is the most important thing. Cowboys are making money regardless, right?
Yeah.
And I think that last little quip there from Wade Phillips really says it all from a coach's perspective versus a fan's perspective. This is a team that has won 12 games in each of the last 3 years. It is hard to win 36 games over a 3-year period. Yet we care about postseason wins because your season comes to such an abrupt end prematurely, all the different sayings you want, and we're judging on playoff success. And in a results-oriented business, that's what matters. It's like Mike McCarthy. We're a championship team. The hell you are, because you haven't won a championship, right? But I think from a coach's perspective, and maybe inside the building, you do celebrate the fact that you won 12 games this year. It didn't end the way you wanted it to, but you did have, by all accounts, a successful season.
Well, sure, you had a successful season, but wouldn't you rather be Green Bay and go 9-8 and you're still playing this week? I mean, so you got to put a perspective on it. It's great to win 12 games for 3 years in a row. It's a great accomplishment. McCarthy deserves all the credit for that. Dak Prescott, everybody else. But when you go and get destroyed by the Green Bay Packers, who only won 9 games this year, who barely squeaked into the playoffs, they were the last seed in the playoffs, in fact, and you get destroyed by them, that's an issue for a team like the Dallas Cowboys, whose expectations were certainly much higher by everybody, because I think this was the year that they had the widest window that they're going to have for some time to go in and win a Super Bowl.
And I'm with you because the way it ended, right? I look at, from a business standpoint, if you're watching a business show or reading about different stuff, they expected 11% growth, but they only had 7% growth. Well, I mean, it's still growth. You might not have hit your goal, which was a tough goal to reach for expectation, but a lot of ways you can define success or define failure. Going into the weekend, I didn't think Mike McCarthy was on the hot seat at all, unless, and I said this last week, unless they get embarrassed by Green Bay. Well, damn it, they got embarrassed by Green Bay. And for that game plan, the way that team looked, the way that team did not look prepared, in my mind, that's a fireable offense, right? Mike Tannenbaum from ESPN on First Take, longtime general manager, he gives Jerry Jones credit for making the right decision, not the easy decision.
He's won 36 regular season games, and when you compare him to coaches like Sean Payton and Mike Tomlin, he has a very comparable win-loss record. They all have one Super Bowl title. And if we, for 11 months of the year, talk about praising justifiably organizations like the Pittsburgh Steelers for stability and mental toughness, that's exactly what Jerry Jones just, exhibited, which is to make the right decision, not the easy one. And when you look at the improvement that Dak Prescott's made this year after moving on from Kellen Moore, I think despite horrific game management decisions, Mike McCarthy earned the right to come back.
Well, that's just great. He was so good. The record, it was horrible decision-making, game management. Other than that, though, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
We still landed the plane. I mean, might have took out a wing, but I mean, it is interesting, though, because from a general manager perspective, and I think, and from ownership perspective, I think that may be why Jerry Jones waited until, Thursday, to have the meeting with Mike McCarthy, to not make an emotional decision, to kind of evaluate everything and decide, all right, we're giving you one more year. And at this point, no extension. He's got one more year. And, where you look at Pittsburgh, the stability that they have had there, Harbaugh, very similar record in Baltimore is what Mike McCarthy has. You've got that stability and you're able to grow. But can they take the next step? I can't imagine Mike McCarthy next year surviving the entire season without some sort of extension, or we end the season next year with a different head coach. Wade Phillips is the only coach that Jerry Jones has fired mid-season, and it came after a loss to Green Bay. Without a contract extension, they have a couple of bad games. And what are we doing? We're calling for the coach to be fired. And if Dan Quinn is still the defensive coordinator, him or Bones Fassel become the head coach, right? And, I find it interesting. Your reaction there, we all thought Dan Quinn, in October might be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, we did.
But
we sure did.
I thought that defense was so bad. And I go back to, was it roster construction? And whose responsibility is that? Brian Baldinger had a tweet last night that was basically ripping the Cowboys' lack of linebackers and their linebacker play and their linebacker depth, which to me is Dan Quinn calling the defense. But with Marquise Bell, who is a converted safety playing linebacker, but they converted him to linebacker back in training camp, right? So that was their plan going in. Is that because that's what Dan Quinn wanted? Or is that all they had? Could they, not getting a Shaq Leonard or, just not being prepared? Because to me, that comes back to the general manager, which is Jerry Jones. Unless, of course, Dan Quinn said, these are the guys I want. Jerry, go get them. And to me, that's the responsibility failure on the defensive side was personnel. You look at Green Bay and how well they ran the ball against the Cowboys. Well, this week they're playing Fred Warner at linebacker, not Marquise Bell. They're not going to be able to run the ball against San Francisco like they did against the Dallas Cowboys. And that tells me that's a team that was built to win in October, not January.
I just wonder if some of this is look, I don't think this is Jerry. I think if Dan Quinn said, we need Shaq Leonard, and if Shaq Leonard was available and he was and didn't want to go to Philly, because I think ultimately that was the deal. He wanted to play with Philadelphia. But to go out and get somebody, I think if Dan Quinn wanted that and said, Jerry, we need a linebacker to help stop the run, Jerry would have done everything in his power to get that done. And I think working with Dan Quinn, that would have happened. So I look at it and I wonder because, and I say this, Jason, and you can either agree or not. It doesn't really matter. But I think the arrogance of that defense, the arrogance, because everybody, you included, were calling them the greatest. They have a chance to be historic. And all of this, and I think guys like Micah Parsons, who just whined the entire year, and some of these other guys, I think it was just pure arrogance. We can get it done. We'll get it done. And I think that may be why they played zone the other day instead of man for the first time, to try and get those pass rushers in there and to put some pressure on Jordan Love. They weren't able to do it. And it's, look, the defensive personnel that they had, they should have gone out and gotten somebody else. But the guys that they had that were supposed to be the big stars didn't play star-like.
They didn't, and I look at the zone a different way for you. I look at the zone as Dan Quinn against those receivers and that quarterback. And Jordan Love, I don't think, is getting near enough credit for how he has played down the stretch, and he certainly, made a career highlight tape against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think Dan Quinn trusted those guys in man coverage. That's why he went to zone, knowing that they can't cover him and they can't stop the run. Is that Dan Quinn not trusting his personnel with the matchups? Because it is a matchup business. There are some teams they can. In this one, why go zone all of a sudden unless you don't trust your guys to cover them one-on-one, man-on-man?
Well, then it's a collective screw up.
Yeah.
And see, I get the comment from Pledge, isn't it, on the general manager? I cannot believe that Dan Quinn is begging Jerry Jones to go out and sign linebackers, and Jerry saying, absolutely not going to do it. Not going to do it.
They want to check. They brought him in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you can't put all of this on Jerry Jones. If Dan Quinn wanted some personnel, I'm sure Dan Quinn would have gotten whatever he wanted.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, a Flight Friday. We're with a flight by Yingling out at Lucy Cooper's, 281 between Thousand Oaks and Brook Hollow. Have you been following the Twitter fight between RG3 and Jay Gruden? Talk about drama. Get your popcorn ready. We'll give you the details when we come back here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
Well, the cold weather went away yesterday, but it's back today, and it's supposed to be nasty weather tomorrow. Rain, cold, all of that kind of stuff. And I hope your roof is in good shape. I really do. If you don't think that it is, you need to call my friends at Stevens Roofing, because really there's just one name in roofing that stands high above the rest, and that is Stevens Roofing. You want to make sure that your roof is in tip-top shape before we really get into the meat of the winter. And it's coming. You know it's coming. And then you got spring storms and all of that kind of stuff. Call Stevens Roofing. Get somebody out there. Make sure your roof is in tip-top shape. And if it's not, there's no better company than Stevens Roofing to make those repairs. The phone number to call, 210-785-0994. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net. Look, they bring loads of experience to every job. They've been in business for a long time. They're not going anywhere. They stand behind their work. No better company to call when you need roof work than Stevens Roofing. So give them a call today, 210-785-0994. That's Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas, presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150-milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Tim, your dad died, and he had a 16 Chevrolet Colorado Z71 with 50,000 miles. Does 20 grand buy it?
No.
Why?
Because JD offered me 22.
JD works at Give Me the Vendor in the week.
I'm going to be dropping it off at y'all's store in about an hour and a half.
Hey, JD, thanks for making me look like a jerk.
I didn't do anything here.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
They're local, they're San Antonio, and they know sports. They're R&R in the morning, KTFM Floresville, and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Couple of things breaking this afternoon. The Las Vegas Raiders nearing a deal to remove the interim tag from Antonio Pierce's name and make him the full-time head coach there. Houston Astros upgraded their pitching staff today. They signed 5-time All-Star closer Josh Hader. It's a 5-year, $95 million deal. Spurs in action tonight without Wemby. He will play tonight. He's going to rest. They'll take on the Hornets. Tip-off at 6.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on this Flight Friday out at Lucy Cooper's 281 between Brook Hollow and Thousand Oaks. We're here till 6 o'clock with our friends from Flight by Yingling. They've got a lot of prizes that they are giving away. The beer is cold, the food is hot. Surprised Shelton hasn't ordered that bacon yet, but I'm guessing it will come at some point.
I'm sure. Well, plus the music's great. We got a little Rick Springfield.
When was the last time you heard Jesse's Girl?
Right, that's playing over here. We've got the video playing up there.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of nice.
Is it?
Well, no, but I haven't heard that in a while. And but the place is starting to pick up. And get here early, because the earlier you get here, the better chance you have at a prize from the fine folks at Flight by Yingling.
Absolutely. There is that part of it. Pledge, I don't know that we needed to hear it in our headphones. I mean, the fact that it's on here at the bar at Lucy Cooper's is enough.
I think Pledge just wanted to hear it.
Well, he might have. I mean, Rick Springfield's still touring. I mean, he plays county fairs all the time.
Does he have any other songs besides Jesse's Girl?
Well, I'm sure he does.
I guess. I can't recall one.
It's not like you would know. I'm impressed that. Hold on. I'm impressed that you knew it was Rick Springfield. 2, that it was Jesse's Girl.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's you got to know that one.
Well, I mean,
yeah, you got to throw a bush or a candle box or what was the other one? The Three Devils from Jericho or something. I mean, what the hell was
Three Devils from Jericho actually sounds like a pretty badass band name. I mean, it really does. This morning I was listening to the new Green Day album. It dropped last night. Saviors dropped last night. And then my Apple Music also told me that Nothing More had a new release today. So this morning I was doing nothing but jamming out the new music.
So is the Green Day, is it good?
Yeah, it is. It sounds like Green Day. And what's cool is they're going on tour again, and it's they're going to play all of Dookie on their tour. They'll mix in the new stuff, but Green Day puts on such a great live show. And the new album, 14 songs, 10 of them, at least 10 of them, we're like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and the ones that weren't, you know, it's like, I'll give them another listen. I only went through it one time this morning, but all of them, they sound like Green Day, you know, because, you know, bands at some point you hear that and you go, yeah, that doesn't seem that. What are they trying to do? And I know bands like to evolve, but as fans, you want your bands to sound like your bands, and they certainly do that. Green Day does with this record, and the Nothing More, which is, you know, a bunch of dudes from San Antonio. They're awesome. That new song is heavy.
It's heavy.
I like it.
All right.
They're a great band. Nothing More.
Awesome.
Yep. So check out new music today. It's a New Music Friday.
After the show.
After the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Of course, after the show. You want to check out the new music there. And maybe a new reality show coming soon. All the drama with the Redskins back in the day and RG3. The fact that it's taken to Twitter is interesting. And I don't know. I mean, I'm here for the drama. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong. It probably a little bit in between, depending on what side you're on, because clearly things did not go well for RG3 after that incredible rookie season. He had an injury, but he's got a Twitter back and forth with Jay Gruden, his former coach.
Right.
And it's gotten ugly. I mean, it's gotten ugly. In fact, RG3 on his podcast said, let me tell you boys a story.
So if Jay Gruden really wants to talk, I'm not going to cuss the man out. I'm not going to call him outside of his name. But what I am going to do is tell you guys the truth. And the truth of the matter is, there was a moment in D.C. that is vividly remembered. Jay Gruden went to a press conference, and he undressed me at that press conference in a way that a coach should never undress his starting quarterback. It was after a game, and I said in the press conference that the best players in the NFL have the guys around them play at an extremely high level. No one is out there doing it on their own. Now, the media pundits and everyone took that and said RG3 threw his teammates under the bus. And I had to eat that for a long time because Jay didn't back me in the media the next day. He doubled down on it and actually picked me apart in the media. But what people don't know is that the only reason I went to that press conference and said what I said to challenge my teammates through that press conference was because Jay Gruden asked me to do that. What hurt me about that was the fact that after I did that in the press conference, not only did Jay Gruden not have my back, but he actually burned me with it. He came out the next day and burned me in the media. He came out the next day in a meeting in our team meeting room and burned me in front of my own teammates. Took accountability for what I said. He was taken out of context and apologized to my teammates in the front of that team meeting. Now, Jay, knowing that he had asked me to do that and still went to the media and tore me down to the media, even in that room, it's the fact that he has zero self-awareness and zero integrity. Because even though he asked me to do something, he didn't have the balls to have my back.
Now, that's RG.
I love that.
That's RG3's version. Now, there's been other players that were on that Washington team, and one guy put a video out last night, Compton, who said, you know, that meeting, everybody's was tight, because that meeting was. But the part that Jay Gruden said, hey, do this, right? Nobody knows if that's true or not other than RG3 and Jay Gruden. I think RG3, I don't know why he would lie about it.
I'm going to side with RG3, and I'll tell you why. Jay Gruden's still unemployed.
Yeah.
So I think there's look, and he wasn't that great of a coach to begin with. I mean, he couldn't hold a speck on his brother's behind.
True.
Right? I mean, seriously, when you look at that. So I'm going to side with RG3 on this one.
Now, that said, because Jay Gruden did have a great career in the Arena League. He's coached throughout the NFL. He was a consultant with the Rams up to a year ago. Certainly understands offense. He tweeted then and then deleted the tweet, which is chicken bleep, that, you know, Kirk was better, Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
And maybe after the injury and in Jay's offense, maybe. Cleveland didn't want you, Baltimore didn't want you, nobody wanted you. In other words, you suck. I mean, eat it. Quit blaming me. Something that Jay tweeted, and it all kind of started when Jay had a tweet talking about Jalen Hurts and the situation he is in. It said, "Man, I've never done that to a quarterback." And RG3 is like, "Wait a minute, hold my beer." And then the last tweet from Jay Gruden was the video of RG3 where he raced the Seahawk in Seattle, and he said, "Go race a pigeon." It's getting good, man. Get your popcorn ready because it's not over. And I know RG3 well enough to say Robert will not let this go.
Well, and I don't think he should. If that's truly what happened, and I have no reason to doubt RG3 in this case, just because of Jay Gruden and kind of the guy that he is. So I don't blame him. Get it out there. Let him know. I wish more players would come out and tell some backside stories that you don't know, like Wade Phillips did with us yesterday when he was on the show. I mean, I think I am fascinated with stuff like that, the stuff you don't get to hear every day. And it kind of brings a light to how some people are and how the business works.
Well, and it is the nasty side of the business. And I will say this. RG3 didn't work in Washington because of injury. His rookie year was incredible. And then he got hurt. And then it was Mike Shanahan tried to get him to play sooner than he was ready to, and he did, and he got hurt worse. And I think that's a big reason why his career was never the same after that incredible rookie season. That said, he was arrogant. He's talked about this. I mean, he did a lot of things wrong, and a lot of that was Dan Snyder treated him differently. And, as a young rookie, Robert didn't know any better. He thought that's how it was, and that ain't how it is. So he had a lot of teammates that didn't like him early on because he got special treatment from the owner. But it was the injury that derailed his career.
No doubt, and that's unfortunate because he was an exciting guy to watch.
Now, you talk about players shedding light on coaches. Jalen Milroe during the college football playoff threw Bill O'Brien under the bus when he said Bill O'Brien basically said, "You suck, you should change positions," right? And yet Bill O'Brien still has a job. I'm not the biggest Bill O'Brien fan out there. I think he ruined the Texans for a number of years.
There's no doubt.
And the fact that he was at Alabama and now he's on his way to Ohio State. He's going to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. And I saw a tweet. And I didn't fact check this because it's Twitter, but it's been retweeted by a number of guys that I do trust, big name guys. Bill O'Brien spent 8 total years working for either Bill Belichick or Nick Saban and didn't win a Super Bowl or a national championship. That's got to be a club with a membership of 1. The fact that you've got 8 combined years with Belichick and with Saban, and you were a part of the non-title teams, which I think there's very few of those when you're talking about those two guys.
Well, it just simply says to me, who's the problem then? It's not Saban. It's not Belichick. It's obviously Bill O'Brien. Look, that guy made some of the worst decisions in history what he did with the Houston Texans. It completely destroyed that franchise for many years. They're back now. They're coming back, but it took a while. And Bill O'Brien is personally responsible because he was the GM back then as well. And I couldn't believe some of the things that this guy was doing with the Houston Texans. And so karma is a bitch, as they say. And he's getting what he deserves, although he's getting a nice job at Ohio State.
Yeah, and all the Buckeye fans listening, congratulations.
Yeah.
You get yourself Bill O'Brien. I mean, it's amazing. But that stat, 8 years with Saban and Belichick combined.
That's
and they
crazy.
happen to be the 8 years neither one of those guys won.
Bill O'Brien, you're the problem.
Oh, Billy.
You're the problem.
Oh, Billy, it's almost like being on the golf course during a PGA tour and the golfer's trying to golf, yet you're standing on your phone. That's a no-no.
Well, that's when your caddy's got to step up.
And it happened.
It did.
Happen again this week.
Back to Poston from the bunker. 144. Good lie, no lip issues whatsoever. Pin cut on that right-hand side. I would expect it to maybe try and run this a little bit long.
Don't know if you could hear that, but Poston's caddy says, "Hey, dude, can you hang up the phone? We're playing golf over here." I mean, you know, you don't want to be rude. You shouldn't be rude as a fan if you're out there playing golf, but get off your phone.
Why are golfers the only one that can't perform with everybody on their?
Because you can't perform.
Why?
You're in a zone. You got to concentrate.
And shooting a free throw.
Well,
I mean, you're in a zone. You're trying to shoot a free throw. NBA Finals are on the line. Everybody, be quiet. You know, Ryan Eagles at the line.
I'd have a harder time, I think, making that free throw with everybody quiet than I would with them yelling.
All right,
or somebody swinging their butt around or whatever else they do.
Football game. Why is it? Golf is the only one spectators can't make noise while the golfers are trying to do their thing.
Because golf is a gentleman's sport.
Okay.
All right. It's a gentleman. It's royalty.
Royalty.
It's like, it's like the uppity. You got to be quiet. That's just the rules.
Even tennis. I mean, let's go to another country club sport. Even tennis, you can make noise.
Well, because they're running around. They're not concentrating on
they're not concentrating.
Making a putt.
Return. So I just, why is it the Waste Management Open in Phoenix is the only one that a golf tournament can be a complete bleep show and party, and yet that's the funnest one out there?
Well, just the par 3.
I think it's all weekend.
The par 3 17th is fun, and everybody knows that, and they expect it. But that's like a putt-putt golf course. I mean, that hole it's like 100 yards? And for those guys, it's like you can hit a putter up there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't make noise. Oh, dude, I can't take you. Hey, caddy, and the golfer tells his caddy, hey, that dude's on the phone. Get him off the
damn phone. Dude, I mean, you go back to some of the greatest golf. Tiger Woods used to get all pissed off.
Dude, I wish I knew who
Phil Mickelson. I mean, there were a lot of guys
I wish I knew who the golfer was. Greg Shelton will remember this. We were doing our show at the Valero, Texas Open. Now they put us out by the driving range. We used to do it on I forget what hole. It was like 16, and in the stands, by the beer and all that. We used to do our show there, right off the green. And Rob Thompson, I don't know if you've heard him or not. He does a show called R&R in the morning with RJ Ochoa. Rob can be loud.
He's loud.
Rob's very loud, and some dude missed a putt and blamed Rob Thompson. And this guy he didn't come up cussing us. He was yelling at us.
Yeah.
Saying words that we can't say on radio about we're at a golf course. I'm like, the golf course put us here. They put us here. We can't be quiet while we're doing our show. And where we were, we couldn't actually see the golfers when they were up there. And then the lady would come over with the sign telling us, quiet, please, as if we're going to pay attention to that.
You had to do the golf whisper.
Well, have you heard Rob's golf whisper?
That Dak Prescott is horrible. He's awful. They should fire Mike McCarthy.
That's not what Rob has said.
I'm just saying that's what it sounds like. You just can't do that on radio.
No.
You can't have a golf voice when you're telling the Cowboys they suck.
I wish you would. I really wish you would. Now, the Spurs continue to suck, and I think we all know that. But Peter Holt actually talked to the media, not in this country, in another country. Talking to the French media, the Spurs owner explains how the Spurs are going to come back to being a superpower. We'll get into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Parkhurst New Vision. You've heard me talking about them, and I can't wait to brag on them. I do it every day, and I love doing it. They've completely changed my life when it comes to what I can see. Had lens replacement surgery. I see better now than I've seen in 30 years. In fact, my results were so good that my wife Maggie decided she wanted to get hers done as well, and she could not be more happy either. Look, you can do the same thing. Parkhurst New Vision, best in the business. All you have to do is call them, 210-585-2020. You can also check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. When you call 210-585-2020, you make an appointment for a consultation. Get all your questions ready. Ask them everyone. But when you go in there and you sit down, tell them your old buddy Joe Reinagle from the Blitz sent you in there. Will you do that? They will make you feel comfortable, and every question you have will be answered, and your life will be changed. They've changed my life. They've changed my wife Maggie's life, and they can do the same thing for you. So call them today. Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone.
Teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Just mix a packet of Eucora with water and drink it when you need support, like right after intimacy. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-970-3199. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
The Jim Rome Show.
Hey, Jim Rome here, and back in the military city of San Antonio.
Weekdays at noon on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minnick.
Howdy.
On this Flight Friday. Howdy.
Out at Lucy Cooper's, man. This is a great place. This guy over here was eating a bucket of shrimp.
Well, it's called a shrimp boil, sir.
Oh, well, it came in a bucket.
Well, yeah, it's a shrimp boil.
Can I call it a bucket of shrimp?
Or a shrimp boil.
I bet if I ordered a bucket of shrimp, they'd know what the hell I was talking
They'd
about.
say you want the shrimp boil that's half off during happy hour right now?
I'll ask Allie when she comes back.
I mean, you want a bucket of shrimp?
No, I don't. I'm just saying. He had a bucket. He said there were 20 in there?
Yeah.
20 shrimp in there.
For those that enjoy that, and I know you're not one.
You have to peel them yourself?
If you peel and eat shrimp.
Right.
If you say shrimp boil, half off, a lot of people's ears are going to perk up, and they're going to say, I want that shrimp boil for half off. They're in happy hour, right? See? Even Rhonda says so. She gets it.
Yeah.
If you say you want a bucket of shrimp.
For $20. Or for what? How much? Half price?
Well, it's half price. I mean, what's Greg Shelton pointing at?
Over there.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
It's a big seller. It's a big deal here.
Isn't that a bucket of shrimp when you call it that?
Well, it's a shrimp boil. That tells you there's potatoes in there, and there's corn in there,
Oh,
and
really?
there's shrimp. I have no idea, but I'm going to guess because that's what a shrimp boil is.
Really? I didn't see any potatoes and corn in yours.
You had more shrimp than corn. See, and that's good.
Well, when Allie comes back, I'm going to ask her.
You're going to ask her what?
Can I have a shrimp bucket? See what she says.
A bucket of shrimp?
Bucket of shrimp.
She'll send you the Long John Silvers. That's a box of shrimp. Never mind.
Yeah.
They don't have buckets there.
No, they don't.
They got boxes.
They have buckets here, though.
Well, they do. But it's a shrimp boil. Do you know what a shrimp boil is?
I know what a shrimp boil is.
Are you sure?
But
I'm starting to wonder if you actually do. You know what a crawfish boil is?
Apparently, they've already boiled the shrimp and done everything to get. Then they put it in a bucket. So then it becomes a shrimp bucket.
It's not a shrimp bucket. It's not just a bucket of shrimp.
It looks like a bucket of shrimp.
Well, it's served. I mean, it's like you get a plate of food, or sometimes it comes on a tray.
So it comes in a bucket.
Right? I had cheeseburger egg rolls today, and it was served in like a Chinese takeout box.
Oh, really?
Cheeseburger egg rolls, and it comes in a like it was.
Well, that's kind of cool, actually.
Well, again,
it adds to the atmosphere, the motif.
Exactly.
Well, if you say a shrimp boil, they might bring it out to you boiling.
You're an idiot. It doesn't work that way.
I want a bucket of shrimp.
Well, I mean,
it's already been boiled.
Well, it's clearly boiled, right?
You know, simplify things. That's all I'm saying. That's a great idea, Jim.
I mean, you could ask for the shrimp boil, but can you bring it on a plate? Because I'm too sophisticated to eat out of a bucket.
No,
my name is Joe Reining.
I like the bucket.
You like the bucket?
I like the bucket.
You want to eat out of a trough?
I want to order a shrimp bucket. Now, see.
Hold on. Allie. Greg, you got Allie. Where'd she go? She disappeared. Will you grab some headsets? Oh, yeah, you're talking.
I've got a question for you, though. If I were to order that bucket of shrimp, and I said, Allie, I want a bucket of shrimp, you'd know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
See?
Would you clarify with them?
Yes.
Yeah, you would clarify because it's not a bucket of shrimp. It is a bucket.
Right? It's in a bucket.
Would you put microphones on? It's hard to talk on the radio with somebody that's not there. Right? She's afraid of you, Joe.
Yeah, she's afraid of you.
The shrimp boil, 1 pound of fresh boiled shrimp with corn, red potatoes, and sausage, paired with melted butter and cocktail sauce.
AKA the bucket of shrimp.
It says shrimp boil.
Oh, I thought it said AKA there. No?
Okay. You want to tell me about Parkhurst again? The answer is no. It does not say that anywhere on there.
All right.
Nor does it say it actually comes in a bucket.
I'm going to talk to management after the show, and we'll see what happens.
You're that guy, Karen.
We'll get that changed.
Okay, Karen.
Now, be careful. There might be somebody named Karen here.
She's heard it before.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Ain't a Karen in the world that hasn't heard that before.
How did that come about, by the way?
I don't know. Hey, Allie, will you find Bronda and ask her to come over here? Because Mr. Reinego would like to speak with management.
I would, yes.
We'll get to the bottom of this. We will get to the bottom of this. We'll also talk some Spurs as well. While we're tracking down Bronda Smith, who's the owner here.
Yes.
And she's kind of turned into one of those celebrity chef types. You know, you see her on all these cooking shows now, winning them, and grocery games and all these different things. I mean, she's superstar in the food world.
All right, she is, but that begs another question.
Why?
How'd she come up with Lucy Cooper's?
Well,
there's got to be a story there.
There probably is a story there.
Story time coming up.
It is. We will get to the bottom of that. We will find out. Karen over here is going to talk to management. And we are going to give away tickets right now to see Bush, Jerry Cantrell, and Candlebox coming up in September. If you want to win those tickets for the September 4th show out at Freeman Coliseum, they went on sale today. Be caller number 9 right now, 210-656-ESPN, 656-37. You're going to go see Bush, Jerry Cantrell, and Candlebox September 4th. If you don't win them, you can buy them at livenation.com. We'll talk some Spurs. We'll talk with Bronda coming up here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Good morning, Stephen Hawking. What do you suggest that Bobo does to get a bride?
He should probably look to the Orient.
So, Steve, you think you should grab an Asian girl, not a South American?
We all get tired of Mexican food sometimes. I would rather have the Kung Pao.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. On this Flight Friday at Lucy Cooper's on 281 between Brook Hollow and Thousand Oaks. You should come hang out with us here or watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. maybe you're listening online at sasportstar.com. And if you're there, you could sign up to win some cash, $2,024 in the New Year New Cash contest.
That's always nice. Get a couple of grand to start the new year.
Absolutely.
That'd be a nice way to start things off. Yeah, I tell you what, this place is hopping. Friday afternoon, nice day, and everybody's out here starting the weekend with us, and we appreciate that very much. You need to be here. If you're not here, get on out to Lucy Cooper's off 281.
Absolutely. And again, Flight by Yingling is here. They've got a lot of prizes to give away. Get a cold beer. Get that weekend started. And again, a little chilly outside, but at least the sun's out. It's a nice day.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. You know what's nice, Minix, is the fact that we actually have a window today in our studio.
Well,
isn't that nice?
Sure.
It's kind of nice to look outside, see the clear blue sky.
It is. And you realize it's nice, and 281 traffic is still pretty good.
Yeah.
We know that's going to change in the next hour or
Absolutely.
so. And when it does, people should get off the highway and just come hang out with us here.
They should do that anyway.
Yeah, well, they should.
Yes.
They should. Start the Friday off the right way.
We got a table here with all the prizes. People are registering.
Yes.
Dude, that little ice chest right there is nice.
You can put an entire 12-pack in there.
Is that right?
Yes.
I believe
with no ice, and it's going to stay cold for hours and hours and hours.
It's really nice.
And then the little top part there opens up.
Yeah.
So you just reach in, and you don't even have to take the 12-pack out of the box. You just put that 12-pack of Flight right in there, and you're good to go.
Oh, you can put the whole box in.
The whole box.
Wow.
You don't take that. You'll take the box from your refrigerator, put it right in the cooler, and walk out the door.
That great ice chest for playing golf.
It is.
That'd be perfect, or for anything for that matter.
Well, that's true.
In my case, I'd love, out on the golf course.
And speaking of playing golf, our golf tournament's coming up in March at the Golf Club of Texas.
Sure is.
And you could register for it early. You can get signed up now at sasportstar.com. And Flight by Yingling is the official beer of our golf tournament coming up in March. Literally,
nice.
we were talking about that during the break. So, and we're going to have some cool golf stuff to give away.
Did you just make that sale, or it was already done?
Yeah, it was
you're a hell of a salesman, Minix. You know that?
Man. Yeah, you get things done over beer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a Flight Friday.
Unfortunately, the client's drinking and you're not.
Yes,
that's good.
Yeah,
very nice.
Is that fortunate?
Yeah, apparently he said yes.
There you go. So Peter Holt rarely talks to the media, right?
I've never talked to him.
Peter Holt, I've never talked to him on the air.
He's talked to his dad all the time.
Yeah, but rarely on the air. Now, last time I had any kind of conversation with Peter was at the Wemby press conference, and when he was introduced, and he was sitting up in the stands by himself, and I went up and I talked to him. And I went behind him. I took a great photo of that, right? Of him just kind of watching everything from afar, because he's not one that likes the spotlight. We visited for a couple of minutes, and he was just excited, right? But the dude never talks to the media.
No.
Right? Except he's over in France right now, right? Not on vacation. He was at a basketball game, so he's working. Maybe it's a tax write-off. I don't know, because there's a guy over in France that's likely to be the number 2 overall pick. So maybe Peter Holt was channeling his inner Jerry Jones, and he was over there scouting, right?
Perhaps.
But he did talk to the French newspaper, and terms like becoming a league powerhouse again were used. He says, according to the French newspaper, quote, "We don't believe there is a deadline for success. Some people try to take shortcuts to the top to short circuit the process. It usually backfires. Having a generational talent like Victor with other quality players while having extended Pop for 5 years, building on RC, who has built championship teams, is the right thing to do. The pieces are in place for the Spurs to become a league powerhouse again."
Well, I mean, I'd like to clarify that and ask a follow-up question. So are you telling me that the pieces are there now?
No.
Or that they will be?
They will be.
Because he's saying they're in place now.
Well, he doesn't think about the future of Wemby in San Antonio if the losing continues. Confident in Wemby's development path and sees the team eventually becoming competitive as it once was. I think when you look at that, and he added, quote, when we look at the whole picture, we know we are on the right track. We'll find the balance between development and results. We don't want a roller coaster between victories and defeats. We want to build a superpower, ultra competitive that lasts for a long time. That's in a quote. We want to build a superpower, and they're going to do that around Wemby. And what I appreciate, you got all these picks, you've got all this money that you're available to spend, and you've got Wemby to build around. While we want more immediate results, it is the first time this year since Greg Popovich told us in training camp this year is about winning. That was a quote from Greg Popovich, which set the expectation for this year. Wasn't this crap that we've been seeing. But at least Peter Holt is being honest with the French media, no less, that there is a plan and the goal is to be, back to his words, superpower.
Well, of course, that's what he's going to say. That's what the fans want to hear.
Well,
isn't it?
He doesn't say anything to the fans and what they want to hear.
Well, I mean, that's what they want to hear. I mean, he's got to know that this is going to get back to the United States, which it has, and we're reading it now. But that's what the fans want to hear. Look, no disrespect to Peter Holt, but Peter Holt, he's not a basketball guy. He's going to trust whatever RC, whatever Pop, whatever Brian Wright tell him. This is what we're doing. This is the plan. All he did was regurgitate what he's been told.
Well, and true to a degree, but I think what you're seeing is in your majority owner and with all the other rich dudes that are now part of the board and all the other stuff, right? That Pop and RC have laid out a plan. And I got to believe that Victor and Victor's team are on board with the plan. And upper management, and I hate the term because Philly coined it, are trusting the process. Right? But again, it's the first time, and we know the Spurs well enough, they've got a plan. Right? They just don't share it with us. Pop doesn't share it with us. It's not like you see RC doing a bunch of interviews and Pop is never honest in doing interviews, right? We never see any of that, right? So at the very least, Peter Holt is talking about what the plan is. And as a fan, I like the idea that your goal is to build it back into a super powerhouse, a competitive team that's about winning championships.
Well, of course you are, because that's what we all want to hear. It's exactly what we want to hear. What do you want to say? No, we're going to suck for the next 5 years, and you're just going to lie. Of course you want to hear that. This is the goal of the team, to build it into a powerhouse. And, of course, that's what everybody wants to hear. My problem is, look, there is no guarantee that no matter who you bring in next year, this is going to be a competitive team. You got to figure it is, and there's hope that it is, but you don't know that.
Oh, it's got to be better than the crap we're seeing now,
well,
isn't it?
We thought that this year, did we not?
Oh, we did.
We thought that. So look, I don't know. I want to see him bring in some play, at least be aggressive. Let's go. With what has happened this year, and you say it's part of the plan or what, but what has happened this year, to me, to the fans, has been, you shortchanged them.
I can't believe that the Spurs thought this year was going to go the way it has this year. It's the same team as last year with the Wemby. It should be better than what it is. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star on this Flight Friday. At Lucy Cooper's on 281 between Brook Hollow and Thousand Oaks with our friends from Flight by Yingling and the owner, Bronda Smith, a celebrity chef, joining us now.
Hey, y'all.
Now, hello.
Bronda, Joe Reinagel was going all Karen earlier.
Uh-oh.
And he wanted to talk to management.
In a nice way.
Uh-oh.
Is there a nice way when it comes to Karen?
Well,
no.
You said Karen. I never said that.
You said you wanted management. The people that ask for management, their names are Karen.
It's the haircut.
Is that what it is?
Wink, wink.
I just have a question, because we were admiring the shrimp bucket.
Uh-huh.
And so he's correcting me, saying it's a shrimp boil.
It is a shrimp boil.
I know, but if I asked Allie over there and I said, look, if I ordered a shrimp bucket, you'd know what I'm talking about, right?
I probably would. I would know that you came here to have some shrimp.
There you go.
But would it be the shrimp boil, or would you just fry some shrimp and throw it in a bucket because he didn't clarify?
Number one, I don't do fried shrimp, so
well, you
know, you're not getting that. But I guess I'd have to go dig up some nasty, just rusted out beer bucket to satisfy your Karen needs.
That's a bucket, isn't it? that you serve it in?
No, it's more of a
It's a bucket.
It's a bucket.
It's a container?
Well, it's not a container of shrimp.
Well, doesn't a bucket have to have a handle?
Well, are there rules to be in a bucket?
I don't know. Somebody come tell us.
That looks like a bucket.
Somebody
to me.
Google
I'm just
it
saying.
and let us know.
Does a bucket have to have a handle?
Yeah, does a bucket have to have a handle?
No.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, that's a good question.
There you go.
I've seen handleless buckets though.
Have you really?
I have. Yeah.
And you're sure it was a bucket?
It looked like a bucket. If you put a handle on it, that makes it a bucket.
Well, because otherwise it's a container. Are you not paying attention?
This
maybe I need a
conversation is
shovel.
getting deep.
I mean, it's there.
Or we're gonna make a sandcastle next
We
with our
might.
shrimp.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Can you do that with a bucket?
I think
Sure.
With a shrimp.
I just wanted to clarify that if I ordered a shrimp bucket, I'd get that.
I think I would know what you're talking
Sure.
about. I think we could get you there from A to B
Thank
with your
you.
shrimp and your bucket.
Thank you.
I would even bring it to you,
Do you-
Joe. Here is your
See?
shrimp in a
Yes.
bucket because I aim
That's
to
all I
please.
want to see. That's customer service
Well,
right there.
do you
Well,
want
that's Lucy Cooper's.
Do you want to ask her the other question you had
Yeah,
about
I
the
do.
shrimp
Let's
bucket?
do it.
How did you come up with
Oh, that wasn't the question.
That
We'll
wasn't
get to that one. You had lots of
Oh,
questions.
my Lanta.
You want to know what makes it a shrimp boil?
Well, no, I didn't. That you're putting words in my mouth. Well, we'll get to the shots of water in a minute.
All right, let's do it. You guys are
how did you come up
fierce.
with Lucy Cooper?
Okay.
What's the story there?
Well, which story do you want? What rating is this show?
It's well, we ride the edge sometimes.
Okay. Well, okay. First of all, y'all, my name is Bronda.
Yes.
Can you imagine being a little girl and you can't spell your name, much less say it, and you're trying to introduce yourself with this accent that I've got, right? And it's just getting butchered left and right, here and there. And then finally, I think my favorite show growing up was I Love Lucy because I love her hijinks. And that, if you know me, you know that I pretty much emulate her on a daily basis in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so I just started introducing myself when I was little. Little girl, what's your name? I'm like, hi, I'm Lucy.
Oh,
and
changed your own name.
I did. My mom would just sit and just whack me. What? Her name is Bronda. Be proud of it. And I'm like, no. So that's kind of where that came from. So the Cooper comes from the fact of, if you've ever met my husband, he's 6 foot. He's as wide as the door. He looks like the epitome of Sons of Anarchy. And he didn't look like a Jesse to me. So I just always kind of called him Coop or Cooper. And then when we were doing this 5+ years ago, we knew we wanted Lucy Cooper's to be feminine. We knew it was a woman-owned business. We had all these grandiose ideas. He would throw out names and I'd hate them. I'd throw out names and he'd hate them. And then he asked me, he goes, hey, what was the name of that place that you used to go sneak into in high school with your fake ID? Because I was an angel.
Well, of course, yes.
Back in Macon, Georgia,
Yeah.
where the Macon Braves, home of the Macon Braves.
Well, actually, in hockey, we used to go there and play
With
the
the
Macon
bacon?
Whoopie.
Well, and then it was Macon Bacon.
It was,
Yeah.
but the Macon Whoopie
The
back in
Macon
the day, and
Whoopie.
it's the only
Yep.
press box I've ever been to where they serve Jack Daniels.
Yep.
But that's another story.
I digress.
Yeah.
How amazing Macon, Georgia is. But there was this place and it was called, and I kind of looked at him and I said, Lucy Cooper's, and he just clapped his hands together and he pointed at me. He goes, that's it.
Perfect.
So I just went on the Google and I go, is it available? And sure enough, it was. And history was born that day.
Now you see, all my questions are answered.
All right. Well, not all of them.
Well, one of the
Why can't we
questions-
get a glass of water in this place?
Okay, so the little glasses of water come from. Well, we live in this Lucy Cooper's.
Uh-huh.
Let me put on my PR voice.
The hell with that.
Lucy Cooper's lives in the fine line of, we're not really a restaurant, we're not really a bar, right?
Right.
So with the water, especially during, that oppressive summer that we had, that's when we made the switch. We were finding that we were pouring these water glasses, in these big 32 ounces, and they would just sit on the table, So if you do that 4 or 6 times at one table and those tables are flipping constantly, you're just chunking water down the drain. And then I was coming from the house and I saw this billboard and it was like Jesus spoke to me, and it was conserved water.
Uh-huh.
We're in these stage 11-12 water conditions, conserve water, the water table's going to dry out. So I figured I would do my part in, some shape, form, or fashion, because I love to be cutting edge and do things that are, kind of crazy and against the grain, right? And I'm like, look, we're going to do that. And the first month that we did it, y'all would not believe the amount of we saved on our water bill, because truth is people order it and they just don't drink it, and that's why we say, hey, look, you want it, we'll fill it up 900 times. The flip side of that story is, since COVID, everybody's struggling with servers at tables and getting great service, and how do we in a bar give you the little bit better service? Well, it's getting the waitress to the table or the cocktail server to the table. And one way we do that and can control that is by how many times she comes and fills up that little water glass of yours. So there's always
genius.
There's always a method to my madness.
Yeah,
a lot
drink
of times,
beer, not water.
Drink beer, not water.
You don't throw away a lot of beers at the end of the day, right?
No, we're not doing that. People like that beer.
Yeah.
I like that beer. That Yingling Flight's pretty fantastic.
Yes,
That's good stuff. Well, we appreciate you having us today.
I appreciate y'all being here.
This is great.
Are you still mad about the little
No,
water
I
cup?
got all my questions answered. That's all I need.
It's it just it satiates the knowledge. You just want to know the why.
That's it. That's all I want to know.
You just want to know the why, and that's why. Another thing, I'm so accessible. I did my show SA Living this morning. In between then and now, I've had my social media people asking me questions about what I made on the show and how do you do it and how can I get my recipe. And that's one thing that you get with me. You can always reach out to me and I'm going to answer you.
Well, you are. And you've become a celebrity chef in San Antonio. It's one thing to be on this show in SA Living, but you've done all these national cooking shows and the different competitions and all that kind of stuff.
It's fun to be in air quotes, talent development with Food Network, because that could really take off and put you, not just me, but put San Antonio on the map. We really need somebody to represent our city. We're the 7th largest city in the nation, and we still get, looked over so much. So if it can be me, then I am just beyond the moon to do it.
Do you have a favorite dish?
In my whole entire life?
That you love to make, no matter how many other things that you make and can do? Is there one that's favorite?
Yes,
what is
I can answer that emphatically. Yes, it is my gumbo.
Really?
Yes.
Does that have shrimp in it?
1,000%. It has some shrimp in it from the bucket.
From the bucket.
There you go. You see,
it's
it
not
all
the boil.
It all comes full circle.
It's the gumbo.
But where my family's from, and my parents are from New Orleans and Picayune, Mississippi, and that swampland, and it's just something that food has memories, smells have memories, and they take you back. And when you have that every single time, and I make it 2-3 times a week, it takes me back to being a 5-year-old little girl sitting on the countertop in my mama's kitchen, making gumbo and rolling out biscuits by hand. And I never think I will ever lose the joy for that. But that is going to be my most favorite thing.
Very nice.
Of all the Food Network shows that you've done, what's your best experience?
I think they all have something that stands out as far as a stellar experience from them. But I'm going to tell you the truth. And the honest truth is, as far as making relationships of the other celebrity chefs and having those encouraging, real, honest people who don't have to give you themselves, but they really do. It's probably going to be the Guys Grocery Games people. Krista Ludke is awesome. She shares my stuff. We're working on getting our sauces bottled, and I shipped them all out to a bunch of these blue check marks, Food Network chefs. And, she's come back and she's given me feedback. Guys giving me feedback. Scott Conant, have a conversation with him every so often. They're just amazing people. They're like me. They put on their pants and almost trip too. So
that's what it boils down to. I think probably the hardest part is you tape those and you've got to keep it a secret until the episode airs.
And it
right?
is. And if you know me too, God, that's hard for me because I got a personality as big as Texas.
Well, that's
it might be bigger.
It might be.
It might.
Or my hair.
It might be.
And you've got another satisfied customer. It's all I needed. I'm happy as a lark. I can move on now and enjoy my day.
Look at that. In 10 minutes, you took a Karen and turned him into a Joe.
It's a gift.
It's amazing.
It's a gift. Well, I love y'all, and I'm so glad y'all came out. We can't wait to do this with y'all again. And
appreciate you.
Get your little tushes out here and come get some Yingling Flight.
Yes.
See Joe and Jason. Let's get it done.
You got it done. Rhonda, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Love
Lucy
you guys.
Cooper's 281 between Brook Hollow and Thousand Oaks. You feel better now?
I feel great now. Are you kidding me? I couldn't feel any better. I know why it's called Lucy Cooper's now.
Mm-hmm.
I can order a shrimp bucket, and she knows what I'm talking about.
Because she owns it. You got to talk to Allie.
And I got the explanation for the shots of water.
Yeah.
Life is good. Life is good.
You still want a full-size water, though, don't you?
Well, don't tell anybody.
You really do want a full-size water.
Don't tell anybody.
I know you got one.
Now I feel the pressure. I have to drink all of it.
You better. You better. And the bathroom's over yonder.
I know it.
You're in trouble.
I am.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Gorgeous day outside. You're going to do some grilling this weekend while you're watching those football games. Make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. They're two great locations because, that great meal starts with great meat, and Tri-County has everything you need to up your grilling game. It's football weekend. You want to do some fajitas. The seasoned fajitas they have over there, both the beef and the chicken, are fantastic. Maybe you want to do some ribs, some baby back ribs, St. Louis style, even some beef ribs, English crosscuts, tri-tip picanha sausage. Their burgers are fantastic, including those brisket burgers. Man, those are great. Even have the best hot dogs you can buy. Tri-County has what you want with the quality you expect, and you can always take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and they always offer a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
It's R&R in the morning.
Monday on Rob and RJ, Dallas Cowboy talk continues. Does anything need to happen in the wake of a division playoff weekend? Who is headed toward the conference titles? We'll look at all the games, undress what happened.
The Spurs had 2 games over the weekend. How do we feel about what we saw? Are we happy, sad, somewhere in between? Bring the coffee. We started sit.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 210-615-7777 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
San Antonio Card House, the premier card house. It's a new year, it's a new month, but it's the same old thing when you're talking about SA Card House. They're giving money away. $125K giveaway running all the way through the end of the month, January 31st. 527 chances to win. You know our slogan, you got to play to get the pay. 17 hot seats drawn per day. Yes, per day, every hour on the hour from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. And this month they pulled out the wheel. That's right, 20 spin the wheel to win. $500 all the way up to $2,000. And of course, it's SA Card House, so you got the multiplier. The multiplier bonus is 100 to 149 hours. You get 2 times the multiplier. Once you get up over 150, it's 3 times the multiplier. When you're playing that much, might get a little famished, might get a little hungry, might get a little thirsty. Bounce on over to Foster's Bar and Grill and order some food from one of those 3 fantastic chefs. Check it out yourself at sacardhouse.com. That's SA Card House, the premier card house in San Antonio.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Some breaking news this afternoon in both football and baseball. In baseball, the Astros upgraded their pitching staff today. They signed 5-time All-Star closer Josh Hader. 5 years, $95 million. And the Las Vegas Raiders, well, they've got a new head coach. It's their interim head coach, Antonio Pierce. He is now the full-time head coach. And the Spurs in action tonight, tip-off 6 o'clock.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons
The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix on this Flight Friday. Glad to have you along. We're at Lucy Cooper's on 281 with our friends from Flight by Yingling. Come hang out with us. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, but get in your car and head this way.
Absolutely. A lot of fun out here, man. This place is rocking this afternoon. Everybody having a good time getting the weekend started. Of course, enjoying some Flight by Yingling and winning some prizes. Renee just gave away a bunch of prizes.
We did. And look, there's still a bunch more prizes to give away. You know, we spread them out till 6 o'clock.
Of course.
You know, because they don't want to take anything back.
No.
Right? So all of that stuff will be given away before 6 o'clock. We got 2 hours till our weekend begins.
Well, that's right in sight. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, absolutely. And you think about this weekend, the 4 playoff games, and it's bittersweet because, you know, there's only so many football games left.
I know
in the NFL season. That's the bittersweetness of the playoffs. But the games should be good. Last weekend, we had one good game and a bunch of blowouts, right?
Yes.
This weekend, I don't really see big blowouts. You look at it, and I don't think we'd be surprised if it went chalk, but it never goes chalk. So who's going to pull off the upset? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776, or on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210, at Jason Minix. Is it Houston? Is that Green Bay? Could you call it an upset if Tampa Bay and it beats Detroit?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
I mean, is it an upset if Kansas City, the lower seed, beats Buffalo?
No.
All right.
But Tampa Bay is kind of one of those teams that and I, as much as I dogged Baker Mayfield, I got to give the guy credit. The guy is playing well, and what I love about him right now is that guy has no fear. None whatsoever. He's out playing football. He's having a good time, and he's not afraid to do anything wrong. And I think that is a big reason for that Tampa Bay Buccaneers success.
Well, and again.
And the fact that Philadelphia sucks.
Well, I mean, all true. But again, Baker wakes up feeling dangerous. I mean, that's the way the kid's been since he was at Lake Travis.
Yeah, but it hasn't always worked.
Well, no. But he hasn't changed, but things are coming together for him. And so it's not like, you know, he's doing things overly different. And quite frankly, as beat up as he is, it's, I think, even more impressive. But again, I mean, if you haven't really paid attention to Baker, you might, wow, man, this guy's playing good, but he's always been that way. He just hadn't always played well. But there's a reason he was successful in high school and a reason he was successful in college, and nobody's successful in Cleveland. So, you know, here you are, you're seeing success now that he's in Tampa Bay.
And maybe he's found a home, and that's good for him. He's got some weapons to work with. I mean, Mike Evans is arguably one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He's certainly on the list, and he's playing well. And their defense is playing well. So, you know, do I think they're going to beat Detroit? No, I don't. I think Detroit is a team kind of destiny, if you will, in the NFC. Now, I don't think anybody's getting past San Francisco. And I've felt that way for a long time. I still feel that way. But I think Detroit will win in their house because I think they had arguably the toughest first-round matchup of anybody. We're talking about the LA Rams.
I think they did, although the Cowboys might argue with you. But when you look at it, I think the other part of it, and Pledge, if you could find this easily, when was the last time 2 1 seeds made it to the Super Bowl?
It's been a while. It has, that I remember.
I mean, off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember last time I had 1 seed. I mean, you know, it was, I guess, maybe Kansas City.
Was Kansas City? Well, Philly was a 1 seed, were they not last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah. So last year was Philly and Kansas City 2-1.
Besides last year, when was the last time before that?
We're a championship team, except we haven't won a championship.
Well, I mean,
that's what you sound like.
Is that Philadelphia or is that Dallas?
Well, it's obviously Dallas. That's what Mike McCarthy said.
I know.
We're a championship caliber team. We just haven't won a championship.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that means.
I have no idea.
I really am, because unless you win the Super Bowl, you're not a championship team, right?
Well,
I mean,
look, as you so famously say, there's only one team that can win the Super Bowl. So everybody else goes, I'm disappointed. There are different degrees of success. Now, championship team, yes, you're right. You got to win that championship. But I mean, if you have some success in the playoffs, I think people and fans feel a little bit differently and a little bit better about your team than if you don't.
Well, but to call yourself a championship team, I mean, we don't really celebrate NFC East championships, right?
No.
I mean, other than Indianapolis, I don't know anybody that hangs those kind of banners up.
Well, the Lakers hang banners like that. I was surprised at that when they,
well, that's
in-season champs.
In-season,
yeah.
But they won a championship. An embarrassing one at that, and they have played like a championship team since hanging that banner. I believe that's called karma.
Yes.
But when you look at the Cowboys and what Mike McCarthy said with that championship comment, and I think I know what he's trying to say. It doesn't come across that way. And after getting embarrassed by Green Bay, not maybe the right thing to say, because that was a Super Bowl caliber roster. It wasn't just Cowboy homers that thought that they had a Super Bowl caliber team, a team that legit could play in the Super Bowl. So if you are saying, Mike McCarthy, that you have a championship caliber team, hard to say that after you got embarrassed the way you did against Green Bay, but I think that would be a truer statement than saying we're a championship team, just not world championship yet. What the hell does that mean? We're all champions when we get up in the morning because we had Wheaties for breakfast?
That's it.
I mean, what the hell does that mean?
I made my bed. I'm a
buy
champion
in
today.
You're going to tell me as a Cowboy fan, just buy in next year because I said we've got a championship caliber team. Buy in? You just got embarrassed by Green Bay. Right? I don't know if that's the time to tell me as a Cowboy fan to just buy in and have belief. And give me a couple of months. And again, I use stages of grief because I've done this a long time after Cowboy season loss.
28 years.
Yes, and 16 on this show. And I've never done a show talking about the Cowboys going to an NFC championship game or a Super Bowl. Every year we go to the Super Bowl. And you know how hard it is, and you've gone to a couple now with us, to find gear that does not have the team logos on it.
Yeah.
Because I will not wear other team logos. And so all the shirts that I have bought through the years, you just find a generic Super Bowl logo with the city on it. And that's the goal. And that's like finding the golden Easter egg on the Easter egg hunt when you're a kid. Because most of the shirts have either both teams or one of the teams. And so the goal every year is just to find the generic nondescript.
We've been successful doing that.
Yeah, they're out there.
They're there. You just gotta find
limited options, and you kind of go this one or that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But
they're usually the most expensive.
And yes, and I don't understand that either. But again, so I mean, after all these years of doing it this way, I understand the life cycle, the stage. Right now I'm mad. Right now, in this year, maybe madder than I have been in a long time since Dez caught it. I think the Dez caught it year was a legit roster that could have won a Super Bowl.
Okay.
And they've had a couple of those, and other fan bases could probably say the same thing. You felt like they were this close, and then the games happen, and all the different things that go with it. This year burns a little bit different. It really does. And I think a big part of it is things were falling your way in the regular season. Philadelphia collapsing the way they did. You get home field, and this is a different team at home than they were on the road. You're getting the best out of Dak Prescott that you have seen, especially at home. The defense with guys like Micah Parsons and the way that defense has played all year, but especially at home. For all of it to go to hell in one game, in one half. This is a little bit angrier than most after a Cowboy loss.
Well, look, Des caught it. You kind of had an excuse, right? The officials screwed us.
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't a collapse by your own team. The officials screwed us. Okay, you can deal with that. The MO for the Cowboys, at least this year, was if you punch them in the mouth, they fold.
Yep.
And that's what I think Green Bay learned that. They said, hey, all we got to do is go in there, punch these guys in the mouth, and we're going to win this football game. And that's exactly what they did. That's not so much talent. Yeah, I'll agree with you with the talent level of the Cowboys. They've got that. But mentally, they've got to get over that. And is that a Mike McCarthy culture? Because you can't get punched in the mouth and fold. You got to come back and punch back. And the Cowboys didn't seem to do that in games that mattered.
They're soft.
Yes, exactly.
They're not a tough enough football team.
And that I will lay at the feet of Mike McCarthy for not holding those guys accountable. First time they got punched in the mouth, something's got to happen. You got to do something different. You got to impose your will as a head coach and say, this can't happen. We got to get tougher.
And the question of the toughness of a pro athlete, I get it. But you look at the games that they lost this year. San Francisco beat the crap out of them. Buffalo beat the crap out of them. Miami is the same as the Dallas Cowboys. They're built for the regular season. They're not built for the postseason. You've got to be a tough team to win in the cold, to win in the playoffs when you're playing tough opponents. And the Cowboys aren't built that way. And I'm curious this offseason, and we heard Mike McCarthy talk about it this week, the run game on both sides of the ball failed miserably. How do they fix that in the offseason? In my mind, that's got to be priority 1 and 1A. We got to find a legit running back and a real run game. And 2, we got to figure out how to stop the run.
No question. You got to stop the run. You got to run the football. But the problem is, so it takes a couple of months to get over the anger. If the Cowboys simply run this thing back, how in the world is anybody going to have hope that it's going to turn out any different than it did this year?
It's a new year, Joe.
I don't understand. They're going to go in and make some tweaks, and they'll have some people. They'll bring in a running back. They may draft another guy from Michigan who is supposedly a run stopper, and all of those things. But you're going to. There's nothing with Dan Quinn back, Mike McCarthy back, Dak Prescott back, the same cast of characters. How in the world is any Cowboy fan going to have any hope that it's going to be any different next year than it was this year?
Yeah, it's like every other organization. There's always hope in August. There's always hope in August. And what we do know is, while we're running it back seemingly with the same staff, we know there will be a lot of roster turnover. And depending on how the Cowboys handle Dak Prescott's contract will depend on what they can do in free agency, what they might be able to do via trade. And obviously, we hope that they draft well. But that Dak Prescott contract is the biggest hurdle they will face. Joel Corey, former agent, has a great article at CBSSports.com about what they can do with Dak Prescott. We'll dive into that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I tell you what, it is the weekend, and I cannot wait. To get over to the Big Blind. It is open now. It opened on Tuesday, and this place is about as first class can be. What is the Big Blind? Well, it's a poker room. It is the premier poker room in San Antonio, in fact, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether it's a daily cash game, the daily, weekly, or monthly tournaments, you can celebrate the spirit of poker at the Big Blind. Texas Hold'em, Pot Limit Omaha, and more. It is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait to get over there this weekend and sit there and play some poker. I am so looking forward to that. You need to make plans to visit the Big Blind as well. Look, it's the owners of the Rue Pub and the Angry Elephant. You know it's going to be first class. In fact, the Big Blind's going to offer food and beverage served directly to your table, a full bar, and, of course, all the games are going to be on the TVs, and there are a lot of TVs. You will not have a bad seat in the house. It is open. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road. Go check them out. Those are my weekend plans. Come join me at the Big Blind.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Finding great candidate hire can be like, well, trying to, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Skincare is self-care, and with daily beauty steals of 50% off during Ulta Beauty's Love Your Skin event, I can find everything I need to make loving my skin a daily practice from brands like Osea, Lancome, and Tula. And I can shop weekly skin and wellness deals of 30% off more must-have brands. Plus, see what's new from brands like Bubble and in select stores, Sol de Janeiro and Ulla Hendrickson. Hurry, event ends January 20th. Shop in store, online, or try pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water. pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
I love San Antonio, man. I love it.
On 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. We're at Lucy Cooper's on 281 between Thousand Oaks and Brook Hollow on this Flight Friday. Our friends from Flight by Yingling, they busted out the prize closet and the beer here at Lucy Cooper's.
Yeah, they sure have. You know, I love being here at Lucy Cooper's, but the hardest thing about being here is watching everybody else drink.
Yeah. It's not, yeah. It's just funny. I just see full beers, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, it really is. You know, you guys are supposed to drink those. You know that, right?
Oh, they're nursing them. They got to be here a while. So, this guy over here, he's got a shot and a beer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, he doesn't want his wife to find out.
That's
I said
right.
This guy. That could be anybody. That's a guy with a guilty conscience right there. That's exactly what that is. We're not saying who you are, Congressman.
Nice. You know what? This place is it's filling up. This is nice. Everybody's starting their Friday out here with us, and we appreciate that. And whether you're out here with us or watching or listening, thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, we're going to give you a reason to drink. Well, another reason you need to come out here to Lucy Cooper's, and it's all about Dak Prescott's contract. And this will make you want to drink. The hell with that dry January idea. Because Dak is going to get a record-setting extension. And look, I mean, I hear your reaction. Of course, Joe, you love Dak Prescott.
I do. He's my favorite.
I mean, but Joel Corey's a former agent. He works for CBS Sports. And Joel Corey's got a great article right now that I encourage you to go read. So when you're arguing with your buddies at the bar, you at least have some facts to go with it. Because Joel Corey goes through many different options that the Cowboys have when it comes to what they can do with Dak Prescott's contract while also dealing with CeeDee Lamb's contract and then Micah Parsons' contract. Keep in mind, Micah is eligible for a new deal. They don't have to give it to him yet. But we know that, well, if they don't, he could always hold out. So you still have to address it and come up with a plan. And keep in mind, Dak Prescott has all the leverage in every contract discussion that he is going to have with Jerry Jones right now.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, well, and again, thank his agent.
No, thank Jerry. Jerry's the one who signed off on that.
Well, I mean, and again, we look at some of these contracts and go, how in the hell is that possible, right? Because releasing Dak, well, that's not really practical anyway, because he's still going to count against your cap, and he is coming off of a MVP caliber regular season. Now the Cowboys, Steven, will hold his playoff performance against him. What is it going to cost him? 38 cents? I mean, in reality, I don't know that you're going to find a trade partner for Dak Prescott. So he is going to become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He's going to reset the market because quarterbacks at that level, that's what they do, and he'll be the highest paid until the next guy gets theirs.
That's true. If I was Stephen Jones, I would just get that little snippet of Dak on the podium after the playoff game saying, I suck tonight.
Yep.
I would just run that in a loop. I suck tonight.
Yep.
I suck tonight.
Yeah.
I suck tonight.
Yeah, but I'm still going to get $280-some million.
I'm just saying, I would have that in the background. Instead of the music, I'd have that, I suck tonight. I suck tonight.
Yeah, I
suck tonight.
Pay me. I mean, now, here's real numbers. According to Joel Corey, postseason success doesn't matter when you're about to become the NFL's highest paid player. Matthew Stafford, when he signed his record deal, had an 0-3 playoff record when Detroit signed him and made him the highest paid quarterback in 2017. Kirk Cousins had lost the only playoff game he ever played at the point when he signed and reset the market in 2018, and Minnesota gave him the league's first multi-year fully guaranteed contract.
Remember that? We all screamed $75 million.
Yeah. And again, but it was not. Lamar Jackson, 5 years, $260 million, 52 a year.
60 billion?
52 million, 260 million, right?
Yes.
One playoff win. He's going to win MVP again, and maybe this year he goes and wins the Super Bowl. But at the time he signed, he's got one playoff win. Justin Herbert, one postseason appearance, blew a 27-7 lead, signed a 5-year, $262.5 million extension.
Did he blow that lead, or did Staley's defense blow it?
It was up 27-7, and he's the quarterback. I mean, but again, he signed that deal. Jalen Hurts, Jackson, Herbert, Joe Burrow is the contract that every Cowboy fan needs to go study. He's the current standard right now. 5 years, $275 million, averaging $55 million per. Signed that deal in September, right? All of these contracts, every one of them averages a 2.3% increase over the last deal. And according to Joel Corey, most of the contracts, when you're looking at this throughout the league, any position, is about 3%. So if CeeDee Lamb waits and lets Justin Jefferson sign first, you could probably expect CeeDee's deal to be 3% more than Justin Jefferson. Quarterbacks are at 2.3%. So if you want to go do some math and figure out if Dak Prescott tries for the 2.5% increase, let's say, that would put him at about 56.25 per year on the value of Joe Burrow's extension on a 5-year deal.
Look, I mean, it's pretty much inevitable. It's going to happen. And I've come to realize that. And as sick as it's going to be when that announcement is made, and you're sitting there seeing Dak sign that after the Cowboys have had no success in the postseason, it's going to be sickening. But I like the way he laid out these other quarterbacks, and it does give you a perspective.
Comparables, comps, like in real estate.
But it gives you a perspective on these guys. And when you're talking about, and I'll be honest with you, Joe Burrow, he's a guy that's got to prove he's a very talented guy, but he can't stay healthy.
Yep.
I mean, so there's an issue there, and there's a lot of quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, if he loses tomorrow to Houston, you got to start questioning this guy. And there's a lot of guys out there like that. Justin Herbert, he's going to have a new quarterback, new head coach. Look, Brandon Staley was terrible. The guy was awful. He was almost as bad as what's the dude's name from the Jets? That was the Aaron Rodgers brought in. You know what I'm talking about, the offensive coordinator.
Nathaniel Hackett.
As bad as that guy. Yeah, that guy is almost as bad as he was in Denver. I mean, so look, I would like to see Justin Herbert with a decent head coach, and with somebody that can work with him. They've got some weapons there, but let's see. But you're right. When you look at this, it really puts it in your face how guys don't have to perform to get these huge contracts.
Well, and again, because there are so few people on planet Earth that can do this at that level, that even without success, you're going to get paid like that with the hopes that you're going to have that success. And it's weird. You're paid on potential, not results. Now, according to Joel Corey, and I'm just going to read this because it's math and stuff like that, Dallas can optimize 2024 cap relief if Prescott isn't insistent on getting an NFL record signing bonus like the $66 million was at the time in his current contract. Jackson now has that distinction at $72.5 million, getting to at least $150 million fully guaranteed at signing, and more than Watson's $230 million in total guarantees might be something important to Prescott's camp. But it wouldn't be surprising for Prescott's camp to use Burrow's average over his first 3 new years to justify $60 million per. Overall, the top of the quarterback market increased in 2023 by 9.41% from 2022. $60 million per year extension would be at that 9% increase over Burrow's deal.
Let me just ask you a question, and this is just something that I want to throw out there and get everybody's opinion, and I'll start with you. Dak Prescott would we agree he's made a lot of money?
He has.
Over his career.
Yes.
Has he not?
He has.
Now, I'm not asking Dak Prescott to take a pay cut. I'm not asking him to do anything. He's going to get a pay raise. But if you go in for the entire max and demand that, and it ends up hurting your opportunity to get other players in there, but what would that say about Dak Prescott? And would you be upset with him for something like that?
I would be upset, but I wouldn't blame him. These guys, and they've made a lot of money.
So then it's not about winning for Dak Prescott.
I think that when you're dealing with your contract, that's the one time you can be selfish, right? Now he's already gotten one big contract, right?
Yes.
And we know that.
And the 2 franchise tags, he made a lot of money off of those.
Betting on himself. I look at kind of like Lamar. These quarterbacks know what they're asking for, but they only get, so many opportunities to go in there and get paid. And that's why I thought I've said for years, I think quarterbacks should count differently against the salary cap because they eat up so much of it. But every player, when you're dealing with your contract, that's the one time you have to go be selfish. And it's not necessarily always on the player. The union also wants to make sure they're maximizing deals because that increases salary cap with revenues. And if some guy goes in and takes a team-friendly deal, it kind of changes the market. Again, like real estate, if somebody in your neighborhood sells a house for well below market value, it brings everybody else's value down. So the NFLPA never wants a player to take less. Or team-friendly for Dak Prescott is going to be how the deal is structured, not the total number. And how does he get paid? Is it more in signing bonuses? Are they years down the road? Structure, I think he will be team friendly. Total dollar amount, I don't think he would. And quite frankly, I don't think he should. And in past negotiations, he hasn't been before. It's the one time to be selfish.
Well, I could see him being selfish last time. And let's face it, I don't know if he could get a better contract than he had this last time. I mean, for no trade clause, you can't tag him. So it makes it impossible. He's got all the leverage going into this thing. That's all I'm saying, though. If he's demanding $66 million a year, which I think was the figure that you threw out from that article, instead of, say, the 58, that to me, that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, look, he's making $40 million a year right now. And so if you go in and say, sorry, Jerry, I'm going to get the max. You got to pay me this. This is the way it's going to be. And Jerry does it. To me, that takes it a little bit too far. You want to go in and say, look, Joe Burrow is this. I want to be this, and I'll be reasonable, and let's go.
Yeah, I think all of these guys, look at like Zach Martin this year holding out. When it's your contract time, you have to be selfish. I mean, I think, do you notice if you're getting 58 instead of 66, right? Would you notice that?
I don't think so, but I'd like to find out.
Well, true. I mean, all right, I don't know if the boss says here, you're getting a $5,000 a year raise, woo, until you do the math. You won't even notice that on your check,
exactly.
Right? But I do think, though, the union has more to do with that than, say, Dak Prescott. Because the union, when you talk to some of these agents, and we'll see Lee Steinberg coming up here pretty soon at the at Super Bowl Radio Row, those agents tell you that all the time. A lot of times players, they've got to do what's best for them, but also the union, they frown upon you taking less than what's out there.
Well, they may frown upon it, but it depends, because you still, in the salary cap era, you still have to be able to have other players. Dak Prescott, as we know, and it's not just Dak, any quarterback cannot win on his own. You got to have other players. Now, some teams get lucky and they find guys that don't cost them a lot of money, but other teams don't. And so that's the issue. And so, these guys always say, man, it's not about that. It's about winning. It's about that ring. It's about that. Is it? Well, put your money where your mouth is. Not saying take a pay cut, but put your money where your mouth is. You don't hold a gun to Jerry Jones' head. Get what you want. Be the highest paid guy, but don't take it overboard. And that's what I want to watch during this whole contract negotiation.
I mean, if he's 3% over Joe Burrow, I don't know if that's overboard.
I didn't say it. That's what I'm saying.
No, but that's, I mean, the other part of it too, I think you kind of factor in, you know what everybody's salaries are. You know what they're slotted to be. You know what they're likely to be. The wide receiver market got reset by, of all people, Christian Kirk, you know, and, you know, you look at Kansas City, they didn't want to lose Tyreek Hill, although they couldn't pay him and Patrick Mahomes, and then they went and won a Super Bowl without him.
Yeah.
This year, it looks like they're missing him. You know, it's rare that you see a quarterback that has been paid go win the Super Bowl. You know, you see a lot of, like the Seahawks. They went to the Super Bowl twice when Russell Wilson was on his rookie deal. They haven't sniffed it since that guy's gotten paid.
Although Kansas City's still in the tournament,
they're in.
But they could have something to say about getting back there and winning it again.
Yeah, they could. And again, you look around. You know, Green Bay rookie quarterback contract, San Francisco rookie quarterback contract, Detroit not. Tampa Bay, they got a cheap quarterback that now they're going to have to pay him real quarterback money.
But he's not going to.
They threw him a lifeline. No, he's not going to reset the market.
He won't reset the market.
But he's going to get a lot more than what he settled for this year. It's going to be interesting to see. And you think about the games this weekend. Who's in line to be upset? What do you guys think? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. James, Joe, we see you there. Your calls as we continue here from Lucy Cooper's on 281, a Flight Friday with our friends from Flight by Yingling on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's R&R in the morning.
Monday on Rob and RJ, Dallas Cowboy talk continues. Does anything need to happen in the wake of a division playoff weekend? Who is headed toward the conference titles? We'll look at all the games, undress what happened.
The Spurs had 2 games over the weekend. How do we feel about what we saw? Are we happy, sad, somewhere in between? Bring the coffee. We started 6.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Tim, your dad died, and he had a 16 Chevrolet Colorado Z71 with 50,000 miles. Does 20 grand buy it?
No.
Why?
Because JD offered me 22.
JD works at Giving the Vendor in the week.
I'm going to be dropping it off at y'all's store in about an hour and a half.
Hey, JD, thanks for making me look like a jerk.
I didn't do anything here.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Attention, this is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote.
Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-978-5309. That's 800-978-5309. What do you have to lose? Call 800-978-5309. Again, 800-978-5309.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all, the collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the Cobra Dark Speed Driver. Engineered with advanced aerodynamics, power bridge technology, and a large hot face for more speed and consistency. Visit us in store for a free custom fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. get there.
Here in Texas, the heat is relentless. The storms are serious. The hail is insane. Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. Hi, I'm Joe Reinagle. You know, your roof protects your home and your family. So whether you need a simple repair or a roof replacement, metal or composition, you need a roofer you can trust. That's Stevens Roofing. They're reputable, reliable, and have always been your local roofer. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free estimate. 210-785-0994 or go online at stevensroofing.net.
Bush Loaded, the greatest hits tour. September 4th, Freeman Coliseum. With special guests, Jerry Cantrell and Candlebox. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bush Loaded, the greatest hits tour. A great night of incredible rock.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jay Simonix. Flight Friday.
Lucy Cooper's.
Flight by Yingling with us.
Absolutely.
That's all you need to know, right?
With all their prizes. Yeah, I would assume here, because he normally does the top of the hour, Renee will be giving away some more stuff here in about 20 minutes or so. So get in here.
I like that T-shirt they have over there.
I need another shot of water.
You can pour your own. She brought you a pitcher.
She did.
You see the disappointed look on her face,
and I'm drinking all of it.
That disappointed look. You want a shot of water? How to not pick up a girl in 10 words or less?
Well, first of all, not looking to pick up anybody. Second of all, I just thought it was funny. So, I entertain myself, Minix,
we all know. We all know. And sometimes it entertains us.
Yeah, sometimes.
You think about the games this weekend, and it's interesting because you look at the matchups, and I don't know if any of us would be surprised if this weekend goes chalk, right? At the same time, there's always upsets. I think you've got one guy that feels the pressure that he's got to go win the Super Bowl, and that's Lamar Jackson.
No doubt.
Everybody else, maybe Josh Allen, but I think for Lamar Jackson, getting that contract, as we talk about contracts, Josh Allen, he's got to get over Kansas City. This looks like his best chance to do that. But at the same time, I think the most pressure is on Lamar. But where's the upset going to come? Could it be Houston? What do you guys think? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Joe, you're on the Blitz. What's going on, man?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Appreciate y'all taking the call.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Looking at it coming from the standpoint of a broken-hearted Cowboys fan, one of the most interesting matchups is Lions and Bucks, and to me, and that's because the Bucks are hot right now. They came in the way they're playing, and if they were to beat the Lions, I do think that would be an upset, and it would be interesting, cool to see. But the problem with that is if they win, they don't get any further than that. I think with the Lions taking the win there, they got a better chance to get further in the playoffs. And I think that's why it's such a good matchup this weekend.
I agree. I think it's going to be a great football game. Detroit's secondary is not very good. And so Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and those guys, they ought to be able to do what they want into that secondary. So that should be a good football game. I just think Detroit, it's got a lot of talent, man, on offense, and I think they'll score too many points for Baker and the Bucks.
And it's certainly possible. The only part about that call from Joe, and appreciate the call, that I disagree with, you get to the NFC Championship game, you've got a shot.
Sure.
Right? Do we look at it differently? Which is what game, what matchup gives us the best NFC Championship game? Because quite frankly, I don't think anybody expected Tampa Bay to be here. And because it's Baker Mayfield and his reputation, and maybe this is great reputation management for Baker Mayfield, but, Jordan Love is playing incredible football right now and has over the last month and a half or so. And, as the guy that replaced Aaron Rodgers, you'd say they know how to pick a quarterback up there in Green Bay. Their last 3 have been pretty damn good.
Well, and keep in mind, too, and I wish this happened more often in the NFL, he got to sit for 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's important. And I think we're starting to see the results of that.
Back to the phones. James, you're on the Blitz. What's going on, man?
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure.
Though I agree with the previous caller that the Buccaneers are going to beat the Lions, my big upset of the weekend is going to be the Texans over the Ravens. And here's why. We've already seen Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have a bye week in the playoffs and get absolutely stumped by the Tennessee Titans a few years back. But historically, the Ravens, my knowledge, have never won in the divisional round after having the bye week.
I mean, history is what it is until it changes. And I wouldn't be surprised if what you just said happened. Although I think this year's Baltimore Ravens team is different. I like their offensive coordinator and what they have done. The kind of medium passes that you will from Lamar, having OBJ, having some weapons out there, his ability to run this year, and he's had some designed runs where you go back to the Tennessee game, that Lamar Jackson was one read and run. If that one read wasn't there, he was gone. This Lamar Jackson isn't that way. He'll buy time and scramble and find somebody else. And that Baltimore defense is so good. I don't know how the Texans are going to run against that Baltimore defense.
It's going to be interesting to see because I think DeMeco Ryans might be the X factor here. He's going to design a defense, I think, that's going to give Lamar Jackson some trouble. And I think he's that good. And so now can they execute his game plan? That's what will remain to be seen. Now, look, I am leaning toward an upset in that game. I really am. And maybe it's because I want to see it. I don't know. I love Lamar Jackson. I love the way the guy plays. I think every running quarterback that comes into the league should go talk to Lamar Jackson because he runs, he gets down, he doesn't take unnecessary punishment, and the guy's got a cannon for an arm. I love the guy. But I think Houston has a legit shot to beat them this week.
They do. And they're coming off a bye. They didn't play against Pittsburgh. Remember, they lost that last game. They rested everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't done anything in a couple, 3 weeks.
That's right.
And so you wonder if that's going to factor. And then they got a linebacker, Patrick Queen, who is talking about a confident group that's borderline cocky.
Just so much confidence. Almost cocky, but it's definitely, everybody's humble about it. Everybody know the task at hand, what we can accomplish, and the stuff that we can do. But it's also a realization that if we don't take care of business, it'll be all for nothing. So everybody's locked in. It's just electric right now, honestly.
Look, I don't mind that. I don't mind the confidence. But if I'm John Harbaugh and even San Francisco, I might be showing that film, that tape of that Green Bay blowout in Dallas.
Yeah.
Saying, you know what? I don't care if it's 7 seed, 2 seed, 4 seed, whatever. Anybody can beat anybody in the National Football League, and you better not take anybody for granted.
I look at this Ravens team. They lost to the Colts, the Steelers twice, and the Browns. Okay. I mean, of their 4 losses, in the last game against the Steelers, they didn't really try.
Right.
They blew the crap out of the Miami Dolphins, 56-19. They blew out San Francisco on the road.
Yeah.
That physical, nasty. They beat San Francisco.
They did.
In that game. You look at, hell, they beat Detroit 38-6. I mean, and I think it's that physical nastiness from the Baltimore Ravens that could be the difference in this game. Unlike, say, Miami, flashy team built for the regular season to put up a lot of points. But you look at teams in Dallas, they're soft. We've talked about that, quite a bit this week. When they've gone against those physical teams, those nasty teams, they can't beat them. And so can that defense that is frustrated a lot of high-powered offenses, will they frustrate C.J. Stroud? And you haven't seen C.J. Stroud get rattled. He just looks calm. And not just this year with Houston. Go back to what the kid was doing when he was at Ohio State.
Yeah.
He is one of those calm quarterbacks, processes, makes quick decisions. I don't know that I saw him get rattled in college, and it certainly hasn't really been rattled in the NFL. He made mistakes in that. The only game that he's looked like a rookie was the first game, ironically, against Baltimore, and hell, he still put up pretty good numbers in that game.
Well, and that's understandable. But Baltimore doesn't really know what they're getting into with C.J. Stroud because of that. They haven't faced him. They haven't seen him. They haven't seen what he's other than on tape. So, look, with the way that kid's playing, Ryan's with the defense setting that thing up. I think they have a legit shot. Will they get it done? It's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong, but I think they have the opportunity to go up there and knock off Baltimore. And right now, it's just one of those good stories. You could say the same thing for the Green Bay Packers if they go into San Francisco and knock off the 49ers. I mean, my goodness, that would be a huge story. And you would start to see maybe the next wave of quarterback come in. We're already talking a ton about C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love over the second half of the season getting, his so because he's playing well.
Well, it is kind of interesting when you look at the quarterbacks that are left playing, that you've got some young up-and-comers. The future is bright in C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. You got a Baker Mayfield who, career looked to be about over, and now, if Tampa Bay doesn't re-sign him, there's going to be a lot of people that would like to have a Baker Mayfield on their team next year. And then you've got Goff, who wasn't good enough in Los Angeles,
Apparently
even though he
not.
took him to a Super Bowl,
Exactly.
right? And then you got Mahomes and Allen that looks like it could be the next Brady Manning type quarterback duo. But at some point, Josh Allen has to get a win to make that a true rivalry. And then you go back and you look, all right, are we going to have an upset? Are we going to have somebody new in the Super Bowl this year? And you go back to Houston. And Texan fan, I know you're looking for every little nugget to give yourself some hope that it would be more than just, holy crap, we did it, right? Baltimore is 13-4 on the season. They are 6-3 at home.
Yeah.
3 of the Baltimore Ravens' 4 losses have come in their own building, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, granted, one of those was to Pittsburgh when they weren't trying and the weather was nasty.
So 2 legit, right? Legit.
But 2 legit losses in their own building. One to Cleveland that was 33-31, and the other one against the Colts, 22-19. And I think about like 22-19. If the Texans can play that kind of game, they'll be going to the AFC Championship game. Because you look at Baltimore, that's a team that likes to score in the mid to upper 20s and 30s. It's rare to get them in a low-scoring game. And if the Texans defense can keep a handle on Lamar Jackson and keep that team from getting into the end zone, if we see more Justin Tucker kicking field goals than extra points, then I do think the Houston Texans have a chance.
Well, and the Texans need to do the same thing. They got to punch the ball in and not kick field goals. I think it's the same thing. All I know is, Cowboy fan, and I'm talking to one here to my left.
Here we go.
That is going to be, without a doubt, rooting for a team with yellow pants this week, because if San Francisco beats the crap out of Green Bay, next week's going to be fun.
Why?
Because it would make that even worse.
I mean,
if you're a Cowboy fan.
Can it get worse than it already is?
Yes, it can.
Only for Cowboy haters that are looking to pick a scab.
No, because we're going to run it back. Look, I got the whole offseason to have fun. I got all of next year to have fun. And then when the calendar rolls January of 2025 and we're talking about another playoff loss for the Dallas Cowboys, I'll have that to have fun with. I got a whole 2024 is going to be a great year.
It is going to be a great year. I will say this, though, to your point. If Green Bay beats San Francisco, and I don't see it happening, but if they were to beat San Francisco, it might take a little sting out of the way the Cowboys lost.
So admit it, you're rooting for Yellow Pants this week.
No.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not, because it doesn't matter. If San Francisco beats the crap out of Green Bay, I don't know that it makes the loss any worse.
It's a tremendous punch in the gut.
It really is. I mean, you lost.
Give Minnick some Yellow Pants.
I mean, it's like when people say, well, I lost to the team that went on to win the Super Bowl. That doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any better. It really doesn't.
Yellow Pants for Minnick.
Not a chance.
Yellow Pants.
Our prime picks are coming up. We'll do that next. Put your money where your mouth is. I'm not rooting for a team with yellow pants.
Yellow Pants for Minnick.
I'm not rooting. Actually, I'm only rooting for one team this week. Everybody else, I'm just watching football. And then I'll root for picks, I suppose. Prime picks on the Blitz. Coming up next here on the Blitz. 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive 1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
No amount of money can make up for a life-changing injury. I'm George Salinas, and at George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our team of attorneys will fight to get you the maximum compensation because we prepare and we care. So if you've been injured in an accident, get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At the YMCA of Greater San Antonio, you'll find countless opportunities to get moving and experience the joy of better health. All it takes is one first step. Find what moves you. Find your why. Join today. Learn more at ymcasatx.org.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Yeah, whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roof.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-785-9545. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-785-9545 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-785-9545 to see if you qualify. That's 800-785-9545.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
San Antonio Spurs snapped that 3-game losing skid there in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. No Victor Wembanyama, but Zach Collins is back. He's missed several games with an injury, and he is in the starting lineup. The Las Vegas Raiders, they've got a new head coach. It's their interim head coach, Antonio Pierce. He's been named the head man, and the Astros have a new pitcher, Josh Hader. 5-year, $95 million deal.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix on this Flight Friday, live out at Lucy Cooper's on 281 between Brook Hollow and Thousand Oaks with our friends from Flight by Yingling. I'm looking at that traffic on 281. You don't want to sit in that. Just come on over here to Lucy Cooper's.
No doubt. Get in here and have fun. A lot of folks are having fun. Renee's having a good time with Flight by Yingling, giving away prizes. So, yeah, come on out and sign up and get some prizes and have a beer.
And we are 58 minutes away from getting one of those Flight by Yinglings.
Can't wait.
Which is going to be fantastic. They're awesome. So what do you figure if you're interviewing for a head coaching job? What do you figure that day is like?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I think it's like any other job interview, isn't it?
It must be. You get your nice suit on, you go for the interview, and then afterwards you go to Chick-fil-A for lunch.
Chick-fil-A.
Literally, Freddie Coleman from ESPN just retweeted some guy. And the picture says, no way I just seen Bill Belichick at Chick-fil-A in Midtown. And Chick-fil-A, I guess Midtown, there's Bill Belichick ordering lunch.
Hey, do you blame him? I mean, Chick-fil-A is pretty good. Why wouldn't Bill Belichick like it?
I mean, I don't know. You've just met with a billionaire.
Well, he is almost a billionaire, isn't he?
I'm just saying they don't serve lunch at these meetings.
Apparently
you don't
not.
want to eat in front of the boss because they might judge you for what you put on your sandwich. You chew with your mouth open?
I think Bill Belichick, that just raises him up a notch in my book. The fact that he goes to Chick-fil-A, I think that's awesome.
I mean, and he's by himself. Nobody's around him. And by the way, that Chick-fil-A is not near as crowded as it should be at lunch.
I wonder if anybody recognized him without his hoodie on.
Well, I mean, he's in a suit. I mean, this guy did. I mean, I find it pretty real.
That's pretty cool.
It's not quite Jason Kelsey, handing the lady in the McDonald's drive-thru a signed jersey that he sees every morning while he gets his Egg McMuffins every day.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
How come that never happened to you at KFC?
Well, because I was at the KFC in Copper's Cove, and
RG3 could have swung by and handed you a jersey.
RG3 wasn't born yet.
Oh,
nor did he live there. I mean, RG3 was. I'm trying to think. I graduated in '91. He was mid-2000s.
All right.
But by the time his dad got stationed there, I was long gone.
Yeah, he's significantly younger than you.
He is.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, because, Copper's Cove is such a small town, he didn't live far from where my parents were. In fact, my dad used to deliver their mail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So your dad knew all about the family business.
Your mailman knows everything about you.
Yes.
I'm just saying, your mailman knows everything about you.
He's such a nice guy, my mailman.
Yeah, love on your mailman.
Yeah.
They
don't irritate him.
They know everything about you. That's the other bad part about growing up in a small town and your dad's the mailman. Yeah, I'm over at so-and-so's house. Oh, 2715 Live Oak, huh? They're doing all right. The light's still on. They've gotten 3 notices in the last month.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, their dad gets too many magazines. I don't know if you need to go over there.
Right.
Back when they used to come in the mail.
Woo!
Mailman knows everything about you. Jon Machota from The Athletic will join us in about 10 minutes. More Cowboys fallout. But right now, let's talk about the 4 games happening this weekend. We call it Prime Picks on the Blitz.
Prime Picks on the Blitz.
Joe Reinagel won last week's Prime Picks, going 4-2.
How about that?
Although still way behind Pledge and I. Both James and I, we went 3-3. So Pledge overall still with a 1-game lead over me, 120-66. I'm at 119-67. Reinagel 114-72.
Can't these games
on the season.
Count triple?
Count triple?
Sure.
No.
I think they should.
So only way you've got a chance to win at this point.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We're running out of games. Unless you just pick nothing but upsets. Let's talk about the games. Let's talk not in any particular order, but Green Bay and San Francisco. Can Jordan Love pull off another upset?
No, he can't. and I think that San Francisco is, you already heard Shannon talking about, scouting them in the second quarter of the Dallas game. So they're not going to be surprised by Green Bay. And I think San Francisco, they're the class of the NFC. They win this game.
Yeah, they are. And look, Fred Warner, far better linebacker than Marquise Bell. Green Bay won't be able to run on the Niners like they did on the Cowboys. I'm taking San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco. They got a head start preparing, and they have linebackers.
There you go.
And everything else.
Tampa Bay and Detroit. Can Baker Mayfield, Pledge, you start this one. Keep that Buccaneer train rolling.
I see what you're doing here. Jason's one back. He needs to catch one up. No, Baker doesn't.
I'm not allowing you just to go exactly the way I pick. Yes, you are correct, sir.
No, Baker Mayfield's not doing it here. Detroit's got a lot of, I think, emotion out of that last game, and they'll come into this one a bit more calm, and it'll be closer to a regular game since it's at home.
I'm with you. I'm taking Detroit.
What happened to all this Baker Mayfield love? He can't get it done?
I could like the guy, but he's not going to. I think Detroit's just an overall better football team.
Man, I really thought you were going to take Baker. I really did. I'm taking Detroit as well.
Wait, I thought the Baker love was coming more from you.
Well, I'm just saying.
You discovered him.
No, I didn't discover him.
Oh, you discovered him this year? You finally started watching
him play? He's a rookie, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Here's an interesting game: Kansas City and Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you go first?
Pledge?
Pledge.
Yeah, I'll go first. That's fine. You can make one up here, Jason, because I think Kansas City is in Buffalo's head. Kansas City's defense is wholly underrated. I think they're going to shut Josh Allen down, and they'll be able to score just enough to get one over in Buffalo, because that's their El Guapo that they can't get past, kind of like San Francisco is for the Cowboys.
I don't even think that's even a fair comparison, because
El Guapo.
at least Buffalo has been close. Cowboys haven't been even close against San Francisco. And again, I guess I get a chance to make up a game. I do think it'll be a good game. I think Buffalo wins. This is Josh Allen's best opportunity to get by Kansas City. I never want to count out Patrick Mahomes, but as Giselle once said, he can't throw it and catch it at the same time. I think.
Was she talking about Patrick Mahomes?
No, she was talking about Tom Brady. But
Okay.
The theory is there. I think Kansas City is going to have one of those drops that ultimately changes the game. And the way I saw Josh Allen run the ball last week, Josh Allen put that team on his back and carried them, and he's going to do it again this week.
As most starting, elite quarterbacks should do for their teams, put them on their back and win ball games. Look, Buffalo's defense is banged up, to say the least. So I think Kansas City is going to be able to score. But Buffalo at home, man, this is a toss-up for me. It really is. This is a tough game for me. But I'm going with Buffalo and Josh Allen. They get it done. They get that monkey off their back.
Will the Houston Texans pull off the upset of the weekend and keep this magical season going, Pledge?
Well, of course, I know who he's going to pick.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he? Does he have the balls to pick with his brain? Do you have the balls?
I love that I'm the one that gets to go first on all of
with
these.
your brain or your heart?
Literally the first time all season I've been asked to go first.
Well, I mean, and you whine about it all the time. So here's your opportunity, sir.
You know what? There is a buzz with this Texans team. They're doing things that they shouldn't be doing all year long. They have a confidence within themselves that is being overlooked in a sense, I think. They believe they should be in this situation. I'm riding the D'Amico and CJ train. Houston, I just have a feeling they're going to get the upset this week. They may come to crashing in next week, but I think they get this week.
I am shocked, Pledge, that you picked the Texans.
I am too. I didn't see that coming.
Not at all.
No,
not
I didn't
at
see
all.
that coming at all.
Yeah, because I haven't picked against them all year, apparently.
Yeah.
And they've bitten you in the butt every time you have.
I'm taking Baltimore.
Well, of course you are. Look, this is a tough one, and I think if you take Houston, you are sticking your neck out. But I got to agree with Pledge on this one, man. I think the Texans. There's always that team, and I look back at the New York Giants, getting it done, coming into the playoffs. Nobody gave them a shot, and they actually did it. Don't know if Houston's going all the way, but Dak Prescott Jr. plays for Baltimore. So I'm going with the Houston Texans.
Man, your hate of Dak is extending to Baltimore. I think it's going to be a close game. And I will say this, I would not touch that 10-point line. If we were betting with the spread, I would take Houston and the 10 points. And I can't believe I'm going chalk, but there will be upsets. There will be upsets.
Well,
but I like that Baltimore defense too much.
Well,
and
they're
Lamar,
good. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll know right away, won't we?
Lamar
First game of the weekend.
has a prove-it kind of game coming up on Saturday.
That'll be fun.
All the games will be live here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Flight by Yingling, starting tomorrow with the Texans and Ravens. What are the Cowboys going to do this offseason? Jon Machota from The Athletic joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Spurs do play tonight. Wemby sitting this one out, but you want to add a little excitement to watching that game, make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and play their Pick'em game, which is a ton of fun to play. What you do to build your Pick'em entry is you pick between 2 and 5 players, and all you have to do is select whether you think they will be higher or lower on their predicted stats. If your picks hit, you can win real big money, up to 100 times your money in a single game. It's a fantasy game, but the money is real, and it is legal in Texas. UnderdogFantasy.com is the website, or you can download their easy-to-use mobile app. Sign up, use my promo code STAR, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a special pick of higher than a half total yards to use on your first pick-em entry, which is perfect for the playoff games this weekend. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyer4us.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat $1 billion insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, $1 billion insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyer4us.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Check out the Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
If you're San Antonio, there are benefits that come along with it. I will cut you the front of the line. We're going to hike the return.
On 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Live out at Lucy Cooper's on 281 between Thousand Oaks and Brook Hollow for a Flight Friday with our friends from Flight by Yingling. The Cowboys can take flight to whatever beach destination they would like since they're officially in the offseason. Let's talk about it with Jon Machota from The Athletic, joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. John, none of us saw this conversation coming based on last week and what happened. But the week up there in Dallas was, I think, more interesting, too, because would Mike McCarthy keep his job? Ultimately, he did. Are you surprised, and what surprised you most about Mike McCarthy's press conference on Thursday?
I can't say that I'm surprised. I mean, after the game, obviously, I would be a little surprised just because it was so stunning to see how they performed. To not even be close, to just get completely owned by what you could argue, record-wise, is the worst team in the playoffs. And you were playing at home where you won 16 games in a row. Everything was lined up for you to go to the NFC Championship game. And so to have that type of collapse, I thought that there was a decent chance that Jerry would be so angered by that he would make a change. But if you go by what Jerry's done over the last 10-plus years, he really hasn't done anything very risky. And so the safe play was to run it back, and that's why he's doing that. I mean, you can mark it 2012. That's where everything changed. They went and traded up for Morris Claiborne. That didn't work out. They gave that 5-year, $50 million to Brandon Carr, and they haven't traded up in the draft like that since, and they have not signed anybody significantly in free agency since, and they've just been a very conservative team. It's led to them building a pretty good roster, though, so you can't fault them for that. But it's just not – this isn't the decision Jerry Jones 20 years ago would have made, that's for sure. So I guess you could say there would be some surprise there. And then from the press conference, to answer your question, it would be that you could tell that even though several days had passed, that there was still I don't know if you want to call it shock, that you could feel with Mike McCarthy, the way he answered questions and that he's as stunned as anybody. That not only that they lost, but they played as poorly as they did.
John, which brings up the question, and I guess we all sit here and we try and figure out why that happened. I mean, the stars aligned perfectly for Dallas with the Philadelphia collapse, them getting home field advantage for a couple of playoff games, and then show up like completely lay an egg. Can you put your finger on it? Was it just overconfidence? Was it Green Bay? Do you have to give them credit? I mean, what do you think it was?
You know what? You want to know how I feel confident that nobody should know the reason why? Is because of being in that press conference after the game and seeing how stunned and just the way Dak Prescott answered questions. And he didn't have any answers to it. So if the guy that's the clear team leader, the 8-year franchise quarterback, doesn't know what went wrong there and is lost as we are, I don't know that we should have the answer. I don't think that we make enough money to have that answer. If we did, we would be having different jobs because none of it makes sense. The biggest thing for me when I left the stadium that night was that what do you have to hang your hat on? The coaching staff didn't do well. The defense didn't play well. Your star defensive player didn't make any game-changing plays. You didn't get after the quarterback. You didn't take the ball away. And then most of all, your franchise quarterback that's in the MVP conversation again played one of the worst games of his career, much like last year's loss in San Francisco. And so I'm just looking at this. I'm like, what's the positive you can take from this? Jake Ferguson had a good game. I mean, that's Michael Gallup. I mean, I never thought that it would have been like that. I could have seen them lose in a close game. I could see them losing in the second round. Obviously could see them losing at San Francisco. I never thought that they would just get absolutely bludgeoned from kickoff. Never thought that would happen.
Jon Machota from The Athletic here on the Blitz. As poorly as Dak played, and look, I know what his final stats look like because he was able to pad those in the second half. I mean, that was a 48-16 game. That was an ass kicking. I think I'm more still mad at how bad the defense played and the game plan that Dan Quinn had and never seemed to adjust. I don't know, try to stop the run or cover somebody. How was Dan Quinn's defense that bad in that game?
It's funny you say that about the 48-16 because if somehow the playoff structure in the NFL was, well, not only do you have to win, but how you'll be seated in the next round has to do with how much you won by. I think the Packers can put up 60+. I don't think that they kept going after him after it got to 48-16 the way they could have. It could have been a lot worse than what that final score was. But I can't say that I'm completely stunned with how poorly the defense played, just because when they needed to play well against Detroit, they gave up the drive that should have tied the game if Dan Campbell would have kicked the extra point, and the Lions probably would have won in overtime. They couldn't come up with the big stop in Miami. They got destroyed in Buffalo, and they got destroyed in San Francisco. And so it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, well, this just wasn't as good of a defense as many of us thought that it should have been. I get it. They didn't have Trayvon Diggs. I get it. No Leighton Vander Esch. Didn't have DeMarvion Overshown all season. But they should have never have looked as bad as that, where you're almost like, this team couldn't stop the Packers. And you know what? To me, it wasn't even about the Packers. When I'm watching that game, I'm like, are they just playing so poorly that the Carolina Panthers would blow them out right now? Like, I can't wait to watch this game this weekend. Is this Packers team for real? Like, we're going to find out a lot this weekend, because I don't think they are. I think they're about to get blown out by San Francisco.
It's just so strange, and I don't think we'll ever know the answers. But you brought up the linebacker situation, and Jason and I have been talking about it all week, how underrated, for lack of a better word, Leighton Vander Esch going out. And nobody really thought that was a big deal at the time, but it turned out to be a pretty big deal. If Dan Quinn wanted a linebacker, is that his call? I know Jerry has to approve of it, but if he says, look, Jerry, we need to go get this guy, that would happen, would it not?
It would have to, and it makes me think that, to be honest with you, their defense is fine the way it's constructed if the team plays from ahead. If they have a lead and let's say they come out the gate, they're up 7-0, 14-0, and the Packers they have to pass and they're not really going to run the ball, their linebackers are fine for that. But they're clearly not fine when the team comes into the game going, no, we're going to run it, and we're going to run it down your throat over and over again. They're too small for that. It's really up the middle of their defense completely. So that's something that just has to be addressed this offseason. And it's more than just Overshown being healthy and maybe signing one linebacker. That linebacking core needs, and hey, maybe Micah needs to play more linebacker. Maybe that's part of the answer, because his play continues to drop off late in the seasons as well. And so maybe you move him to linebacker. It helps answer some of that problem. And also maybe it keeps him fresher later in the season, undersized edge rusher. So they have to find a reason to, or find a way to try and keep him healthy as well. And so maybe him playing more linebacker is the answer. I was against that probably a week ago, but after seeing last Sunday against Green Bay, I think all options have to be on the table.
They really do, because also doubtful that we see Leighton Vander Esch back. The question that I have after what we saw from that defense is Dan Quinn guaranteed a job in Dallas next year if he doesn't get one of the head coaching jobs that he's been interviewing for.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he'll be back. I don't think they would go in another direction unless it's just this is Jerry trying to say, well, we got to shake up something, so we'll go in another direction there. But frankly, I don't see that happening. I think that they're going to try and run it back as much as possible, try and re-sign as many guys as possible. It will be a little surprising if Dan Quinn doesn't get one of these head coaching jobs, just because of the interest there is in him this year, more so than any other offseason in terms of the interviews he has. So, but if he doesn't get one of those jobs, I do think he'll be back, and they'll try to run it back.
John, does that game against Green Bay hurt him in some of these interviews? That was his last showing, the last thing that we have on film from him.
You know what's funny about this? Okay. I believe, I don't know this to be true, but I always believe that there's a Cowboys factor in all these things when you go to these other teams and interview with them, to where they look at the Cowboys as like kind of a circus, and they look at it as like, well, we understand that happened there, but we'll have you in a different position here. Like we think you'll be fine. We're amazed you were able to do what you did do. I think about that seriously all the time with Dak. As bad as things get with Dak, I can completely see 4 or 5 teams being like, oh, Bud, we're surprised you're even able to do what you did there. Like, no, come here. We'll take you. Let's do this. I mean, to be honest with you, the only other team I watch, or the team I watch the most next to the Cowboys, is the Lions. And I'm telling you right now, Jared Goff is not doing anything this season that Dak Prescott couldn't do for that Lions team, you know? And all of a sudden it's this, oh, Jared Goff's been reinvigorated and he's this new guy. Same thing with Baker Mayfield in Tampa. Believe me, if they let Dak go, he would find another suitor. And that's why I kind of feel the same way with Dan Quinn. I think that other teams, it might hurt them, and they'll have to maybe explain what happened to some of those teams. But I still think that if there's a team out there like Seattle that really wants him for the type of a leader he is and the type of coach he is, I don't think that one game is going to do anything to hurt his resume.
All right, John, let's look ahead a little bit, because if let's say Dan Quinn is back, you're basically running it back with the same guys that you finished the season with this year. Now, they've got a long list of free agents that they're going to have to decide on what to do. And then, of course, you've got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, all these guys in line for big contracts. Is there anything – and you cover the Cowboys, you're there at the Star every day, anything that Jon Machota sees that gives you any hope that this Cowboys team will be better next year than they were this year?
Nope. No, I would say there's not much. And the reason why I say it is because you look at the draft, they have to draft well, and you just look at the draft they just had and how little they got from that. You have another draft like that where you have getting very little to nothing from Mozzie and Schoonmaker and Overshown. I mean, I don't know how you win 10 games next year unless you get some type of impact early in the draft. So they're going to have another tough schedule. And then there's a little bit of that, like how many times can you keep going back to the well if things start going poorly? Because nobody is going to give them any credit no matter how many games they win next year. You can win the NFC East, win 14, 15 games, and it's going to be all about the playoffs again. And so, and here's the other part about it. I thought they were pretty healthy going into the playoffs. I mean, that whole offense was there. The offense they had in training camp was there. I mean, they were there. There's not a lot of excuses that they can make. So it's hard to sit there and try and sell to the fan base right now that just running it back is all of a sudden, no. This year will be different. I don't see how that can happen right now. They'd have to make some very aggressive moves, with whether it be trades or something with personnel. And I don't see them doing that either. So it's tough. It's tough to find something that you can really hang your hat on and say, no, this is going to be way better next year.
Jon Machota from The Athletic here on the Blitz. Is the offseason has begun. Let's assume Dak gets his contract extension, because from the business side of things, it certainly seems that is the option for the Cowboys. What's the one major move that you think the Cowboys have to make, either on the offense or defensive side of the ball?
Well, I think the Cowboys are at their best when they draft best player available. They really want a corner. The corners both go right before they go, hey, we'll take this Micah Parsons guy. They wanted to trade up and get different quarterbacks. And the guy Paxton Lynch doesn't fall to them the way that they want to. And then they want Connor Cook, and that doesn't happen. And so they settle for this Dak Prescott. They need an edge rusher, but instead of taking Kayvon Chason out of LSU, they take this CeeDee Lamb guy. That's when they've been at their best. So I'm not saying they should absolutely draft this way, but I think they have to take an offensive lineman in the first round. I just think that would help the run game. That would help the pass game. I think that's your best bet to have an impact on next season. And let's be honest, the best thing that they do in the first round is draft offensive linemen. And so I'm not saying that they're going to just take whatever offensive lineman's there, but I'm saying if that's the best player available, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then probably in that, third, maybe even second round, you got to get another running back. And it's a young man's game back there. You need a young running back that's ready to just, basically be how Zeke was, be a bell cow like that early on, and hope you can pair him with someone else. But I don't see how you can do anything other than improve the run game through the draft, because financially, even if they redo Dak, I think that'll be more about like re-signing Tyler Biadasz and possibly Dorrance Armstrong than it will be about signing a bunch of free agents from other teams. I don't see that happening.
So most likely, in your opinion, and I think we share it, Tony Pollard's wearing a different uniform next year.
I would think so, unless he's willing to take some really cheap type deal. It could be one of those things where he hits the free agent market and everything that he's looking for really isn't there. And maybe he signs on a 1-year deal. So, I can't say it's impossible. I just think it's unlikely right now. Where the Cowboys are with their salary situation and what he'll probably be looking for.
So, John, are your Lions going to the NFC Championship game?
I think they are. They beat the Bucs earlier in the year, and the Bucs are a good team, don't get me wrong, but I think that Ford Field will give them a significant advantage. And obviously, I don't think they'll beat the Niners, but I really like their chances to beat the Bucs. I'd be pretty disappointed if they lost to Tampa Bay.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. Who would have thought? the Lions get to the NFC Championship game before the Cowboys.
Certainly not me. I never would have thought that. I'll say that right now.
No, enjoy the ride. John, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next Friday.
All right, you guys take it easy.
Appreciate it. Jon Machota from The Athletic. Make sure you subscribe to The Athletic and follow John on Twitter for all the Cowboys off-season news at Jon Machota. No H in John, as he joined us on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. You know, September 4th, there's a big show at Freeman Coliseum.
There is.
Bush,
yeah.
Jerry Cantrell, Candlebox. Yeah.
I'm learning.
You're getting
learning.
there. Can you name a song?
No.
But can you name a caller?
Sure, I can do that. Let's see. In recognition of one Dak Prescott, let's go caller number 4.
Wow. You're easy.
How about that?
Why are you taking it easy on Pledge on a
Pledge
Friday?
Friday. Pledge, I'm in a good mood.
You should have gone 7.
Why?
Well, because that's C.J. Stroud's number and Dak's number of playoff appearances.
Well, why don't we combine them and go 11?
We could do that, too.
Let's do that.
You want to go Danny White on this
Let's
thing?
go Danny White on
There
it.
you go, Pledge. Caller 11, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller 11, you win yourself tickets to go see Bush, Jerry Cantrell, and Candlebox at Freeman Coliseum in September. You don't win them, buy them at livenation.com. Spurs play tonight. No Wemby. We'll talk about it next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. When you need an electrician, you know Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. I know I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my house through the years. They do fantastic work and have for over 3 decades. The family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. And what's great about Hill Electric is they've got the right service for you at the right price, but there is never a service charge and always free estimates. So it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done. Call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or online, hill-electric.com.
This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and gate in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
My name is John Clay Wolf, and I'm the CEO of GiveMeTheVin.com, and I love to buy cars. And I love the system we built to buy your car. It is quick. It is fast. If you've got your license plate number, you can just go to GiveMeTheVin.com, stick it in there. 45 seconds, you're in and out. You'll have a number. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer, where we love to buy cars.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson for Tri-County Meat Market, your locally owned full-service meat market. Tri-County has 2 great locations, Keebner Road and Ralph Fair, stocked full of everything you need to up your grilling game. You're looking for the perfect cut of beef, they've got it. And if they don't have it, they'll cut it for you. Roast chicken, prepare foods, they've got it. The 5 for $25 is always in play. If you're a first responder, 10% off the best meat you're going to find. Tri-County Meat Market. Head over to either location, put some good meat on the grill, and thank me later.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The venue's set. Families coming in from all over. It's our quinceañera. With all the excitement, it may be easy to overlook COVID-19. It's still a risk, and that's why it's muy importante to get this season's COVID-19 shot ahead of time. It helps protect against COVID-19, which can cause severe illness and hospitalization. So let's set the date, vaccinate, and celebrate. Learn about a vaccine option and book this season's updated COVID-19 shot today at schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When my daughter gets a cold, I have a secret weapon. Dayquil Kids Berry from Vicks. Dayquil Kids is specially formulated to treat kids' most bothersome cold and cough symptoms quickly. And the best part is that Dayquil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
Dayquil Kids Berry. The kids' berrylicious daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6 years plus.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website, alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do. Help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community when and where you can. As my father told me a long time ago, insurance companies are not trying to get to heaven. They're trying to make a profit. You cannot blame a lion for being a lion. Hire a hunter to help you. That's me. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star.
This is the AA Best Bail Bonds Game Night San Antonio on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every game night, the Blitz with Jason and Joe get you inside and ready for tonight's game. Players, coaches, insiders. This is the AA Best Bail Bonds Game Night San Antonio.
For three, and Wembanyama put him in the friend zone.
The pregame show starts now.
Spurs on the road tonight. They take on the Hornets. It is Game Night San Antonio. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Live out at Lucy Cooper's on 281 between Thousand Oaks and Brook Hollow. A Flight Friday. We're out here with our friends from Flight by Yingling. And they'll have the Spurs game on here in a bit. Although Wemby isn't playing tonight's game. And what I find interesting is on the injury report, it says rest. And he's out for that. And he's been consistent with that. He doesn't like the injury designation for the ankle, even though it's the medical staff saying at this point he can't play in back-to-back games because of the ankle. But Jeff McDonald even tweeted, that's his request on the designation. He doesn't like being injured.
No, and if he's not injured, I mean, let's face it. I mean, they're taking it easy on him, but he certainly doesn't play like he's injured. But, yeah, it is the first night of a back-to-back. I'm surprised Pop resting tonight versus tomorrow, so I guess you can go either way. But
the other day, I think it was his call. He wanted to play against Washington. And you look at this, and Jeff McDonald tweeted out pregame. Pop said that while Victor is still on a minutes restriction, he is prohibited from playing in back-to-backs, and that could change, quote, pretty quickly. Jeff tweeted out, followed that up with, this is me not reporting, but offering my best guess. Would think that Victor gets re-examined after the team returns from the road on Tuesday, at which time some of these restrictions might be loosened to some.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I get being, gentle with Wemby and not wanting to get him hurt. But the guy, he looks great. I mean, he's been playing well in limited minutes. Or maybe you keep him there. I mean, since they stuck Trey Jones in the starting lineup and limited Wemby's minutes, he's playing like an all-star. So maybe you just stay with it the rest of the season.
Well, I mean, I would like to get him up to 32 to 35. He's at 27 now. That was about a point a minute while he's out there. You look at his defensive numbers and all that kind of stuff as well. It just, again, if it's medical, we saw that ankle the way it turned. I didn't know how it didn't snap off. But the way he plays, it doesn't look like he should be on a restriction. And we know with the Spurs, it's always the bigger picture in mind instead of the immediacy. Remember, years ago, Tim Duncan hurt his knee in 2000, and Pop didn't let him play in the playoffs. I mean, we could have gone back-to-back, but big picture, and Tim had a great career. I just look at this, and it's frustrating. And Wemby certainly sounds frustrated with the minutes restriction. And if he does get evaluated next week and they're lifted, then this conversation could certainly end.
Look, the way the season's going right now, why not just rest him or keep him on this until the All-Star break? And then start the second half of the season.
Who are you?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, look, if they're not going anywhere. They've won 7 games. They're not going anywhere. It's all about development still. It doesn't look like they're going to do anything at the trade deadline. So why not just keep them rested, keep them fresh, and just wait till after the All-Star break?
Well, I do think they'll end up doing something at the trade deadline, but it's not going to impact this year.
Right.
Moves that they're going to make, or certainly for the future in that respect. And looking at the future, I find it interesting that the Spurs owner, Peter J. Holt, he's over in France right now. He was at a basketball game watching a player that's expected to be the number 2 overall pick with the name.
Is he a scout now?
Well, I mean, why not? He's channeling his inner Jerry Jones. Hey, he's over in France and needs the tax write-off. Let me go to a basketball game. But he talked to the French media. And granted, Peter Holt, he doesn't talk basketball to the media. Every time I see him on TV, it's some sort of business thing. He's never been on this show, although he has been invited. Last time I talked to Peter on a personal level was at the Wemby introductory press conference. And even then, he didn't want to do any interviews. We were just kind of talking about the awesomeness that we were watching there. But he tells the French newspaper, and he used the term superpower. The Spurs want to become a, quote, superpower again. He said, quote, "We don't believe there is a deadline for success. Some people try to take shortcuts to the top to short circuit the process, and it usually backfires. Having a generational talent like Victor with other quality players while having extended Pop for 5 years, building on RC, who has built championship teams, is the right thing to do. The base pieces are in place to become a superpower." He said, when we look at the whole picture, we know we are on the right track. We'll find the balance between development and results. And that's the first real mention of, the Spurs, they know what they're going through this year, but it's part of the bigger plan that they have. And if he's saying that, you got to believe that Pop RC, ownership group, and Victor and his team, that this year is going to suck, but it's next year and the year after. That's what they're looking for. I like just hearing we've got a plan to become a superpower again.
Well, I don't know what else he's going to say, but I'm kind of sick of that. Well, it's following the plan. We're going to suck this year, and maybe next year we'll get a little bit better. Maybe we're a little bit better after that. I mean, I think they said that last year, right? Tanking, they end up getting lucky. They get Wemby, and it was supposed to be about wins this year. They're going to have less wins most likely this year than they did last year. So of course, the Spurs have a plan to become a superpower again. What else would he say? We're just going to suck the rest of the time that I own this team, and then they can do with whatever they want to do.
But man, we're making a lot of money.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
The other part of it, too, though, is Pop told us at Media Day, the start of training camp this year is about winning. I would love for Pop, Brian Wright, RC, Peter Holt, to address what has changed. Why has it gone so terribly wrong? Because this is a team last year. They sucked well enough to win the lottery, but they were tanking. There were probably about 10 games last year that we figured going through the motions, if they were trying to win them, they could have won them. But the way they subbed out at the end of those games, they were trying to lose to get Victor. and then they're running back with basically the same team with a player like Wemby, they should be better, and they're not. Why? What? Because clearly this wasn't part of the plan. They've adjusted the plan as the season has gone on. I'd like to know why whatever they were thinking in the offseason didn't work when Pop said this year was about winning, and we've seen them do anything but win except for 7 wonderful nights.
7, and 2 of them in Phoenix early in the season. That was a glorious memory that I'll always treasure.
I've had a lot of great nights in Phoenix.
Well,
That's a town you can have a great night
I
in.
think we all have. Look, and now, look, with Pop coming out the other day talking about he's about to get on asses.
Yeah.
And people are going to be gone. Where was that Greg Popovich earlier in the season? And why is that Greg Popovich coming out now? I'm not sure. Or was this a whole experiment to see who was going to improve, who wasn't? Is somebody whining, somebody complaining, somebody not playing as hard as they should? I wonder why all of a sudden the old Greg Popovich reared its head now versus earlier in the season.
I mean, you wonder because he's had comments this year, paraphrasing obviously, about it's about development. It's not about winning. It's about learning how to be a pro. And those comments pissed me off when he said them because outside of Wemby, everybody else should already know how to be a pro. Jeremy's a second-year guy. Maybe he's got some more learning to do. But Keldon and Devin, they should know already how to be pros.
Yeah.
And the comments he made the other night that you're referring to, I wonder if somebody in the locker room was acting like they don't care that they lost another game. Because the competitor in you, and we know Pop has that competitive spirit. It's one thing to lose games. It's another when you don't care if you lose. And maybe somebody didn't seem to care. And I try not to get on Keldon because Keldon has said he tries to be the same person all the time. And it does bother me sometimes when I see him just smiling after a loss because he's never been here while they were winning. And I got to believe that losses bother him. But I do like a guy that is aware of himself enough to say, I want to be the same guy whether we're winning or whether we're losing. But you can't show frustration with yet another loss. I don't think anybody would get mad at you if you actually showed emotion.
Well, I mean, and look at the guys, Vassell, Keldon Johnson. They knew obviously they were in on the plan last year, I think, right? We're going to tank. We're going to try and get Wemby in here, get the number 1 pick. That worked out. And then coming in this year, I mean, look, it's human nature. After a while, you kind of get used to losing. I mean, that's what you were told to do all of last year. It's come out again this year. That's what you're doing. While Pop experiments, like Frankenstein with Jeremy Sohan at point guard and several other moves. So, I mean, at some point in time, it's human nature. If you're not told you need to win, if you're not told you need to care about winning, then why do you care about winning? I find it hard to blame any of those guys when the head coach is not on their ass now about not caring about winning.
I'm with you there. Now, can they win tonight? I know there's no Wemby, but this is a Charlotte team that the Spurs destroyed a week ago. They're 8-30. They've lost 6 in a row. They're 1-9 in their last 10. Spurs 7-33. They've only lost 3 in a row, and they're 2-8 in their last 10. And then you look at Washington coming up tomorrow night. They're also 7-33, although they've only lost 2 in a row. Spurs have a chance to win back-to-back games.
They do.
I mean, can they win back-to-back games?
Well, sure they can. Zach Collins is back, by the way.
Will they?
Zach Collins is back, and he's going to start tonight because Wemby's out. That should help. I think they I thought they would cover 16 the other night against Boston, and I was wrong. So it's very difficult to predict anything when it comes to this basketball team. So, that's just for giggles they win tonight.
You think they're going to win?
Why
tonight?
not?
You think they're going to win?
I might as well say that.
They go back-to-back?
It's a Friday news dump.
Joe thinks they're going to win?
Sure, back-to-back games. Because Wemby will be back tomorrow, and that'll seal the deal. All you have to do, Spurs, is win tonight. Get Wemby back in the lineup tomorrow, and you got a 2-game winning streak.
See, and again, maybe you could build off of that. I mean, the idea that we're in January.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
It's January 19th. Do they get to the double-digit win total before we get to February?
That means they'd have to win 3 games?
That was 3 games before the end of the month.
Before the end of let me look at the schedule. If they win 2 in a row, then the odds certainly are in their favor.
They do. You got Charlotte tonight, Washington, then Monday night they're at Philadelphia.
Well, they're going to lose that one.
Then they got Oklahoma City, Portland, Minnesota, Washington again, and Orlando to close out the month. Will they get to 10 wins before the end of the month?
I say yes. They only need 3. They've got some tough games in there they're going to lose, but they can beat Portland. They should be able to beat Portland.
8 games before the end of the month. Can they get 3 of their next 8?
I believe they can. Yes. I'm going to be positive, Joe, tonight. It's Friday.
Man. And he hasn't even started drinking yet, folks.
I know.
Well, that's in a couple of minutes.
Yes, it is.
They could pour that beer for us now. Spurs and Hornets tonight. Game night, San Antonio. This weekend, big weekend of playoff football. All 4 games on 94.1, brought to you by Flight by Yingling, starting with tomorrow's Texans-Ravens game. It's going to be a good weekend of football.
I can't wait, man. I cannot wait to watch these football games. This might be, although last weekend was fun. I know Cowboy fan didn't have fun.
No.
But last weekend was fun. This may be the best week of playoff football because you got, battling it out to see who's going to play for the conference championships.
I hope we don't have blowouts.
I hope not either.
I hope we have 3 or 4 good games. I don't want to be greedy and say 4 or 4. Give me 3 or 4 good games this weekend.
Go Texans!
Well, that's going to be a drop.
Go Texans!
Says the man without a team. Says the man without a team. You get an hour of Texans talk coming up. Extra innings with Pledge next here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. On this Friday, you have your weekend plans. None of you plan.